Hello, everybody, and welcome to BC Buckets. I'm Matthew Brune, and joining me once again is Colin Mitchell. Colin, it is time for the 2024 NBA Draft. Only the first round today, for those who maybe don't know. First round is on Wednesday night, 7 o'clock. That's what we're live streaming this thing at about 7:04. Adam Silver's up there talking. And then tomorrow is the second round at 3 o'clock Central Time. So we'll have like a recap video for that. But Colin, we decided to try to live stream this thing and talk through every single pick. We'll be here for the whole time, all 3 hours. I don't have like an energy drink or anything in front of me, but we'll just go until we crash.
I got a Dr. Pepper, so that's gonna have to do.
Yeah, that'll do. But yeah, we can. I don't know when he's gonna announce that the Hawks are on the clock officially. He's talking through like the Celtics being the champions, good for them and stuff. But if you want to just run through our big boards, as you can see, we have 1 through 15 right below. And do you want to do it on Fanspo, or do you just want to kind of?
I think it's easier to scroll on Fanspo. We can leave. We can do that. Keep that up for whenever we swap.
Sure, do that. But yeah, Alex Sarr is our number one player. It doesn't look like he's going to go first here. We're trying to stay off of social media as well, so that way we have a genuine reaction to these picks. But we already know it's looking like it's not going to be Alex Sarr number one. Here it is. The Hawks will be on the clock. 5 minutes. Okay. And we will be showing it periodically whenever the draft picks come up. Just not throughout the whole thing because that's not legal. So Alex Sarr is our number one player. Doesn't look like he's going to go first. It looks like it's going to be Zachary Risacher. Do you want to talk about Risacher before, after, during?
We can just talk about him now. Obviously, since the Hawks are probably going to pick him. You and I think both had the same feelings of Risacher. Honestly, high ceiling player. Really by his shooting and what he's been able to do. He had that stretch where he was shooting like 48% from three. Really good fluid player. I personally, he has one of my highest ceilings. I don't remember what the comps were I had for him because we've gone through so many, but I think, Rashard Lewis is like a type of guy that I think he can become where, he's just going to be able to get a guy offensively that's able to do a lot. And then I think defensively, he's a pretty good team defender. And, I think he's a really well-rounded player straight off the bat.
High volume shooter. I think for a lot of people watching his game, like if you just go by the traits, it's easy to nitpick him, which is why a lot of people do nitpick him. A lot of people have him outside the top 10 on their boards because the self-creation is not there. I argue that by saying if you're looking for a perfect prospect, this draft is not the one for you. Like it's just not. He has some of the highest upside, I believe, and with that being the case, I think that's what ultimately won the Hawks over here, if that is the pick. I think they're going to need wing players in this rebuild, whether they trade Trae Young, whether they trade DeJounte Murray, whatever they do here. Zach Risacher is a long-term pick that I think good to have on the wing. Now, again, I would take Alex Sarr. I think he makes a ton of sense with like an Onyeka Okongwu. I don't think you have to trade both point guards, and I think you'd be really set at that position with Alex Sarr, but ultimately I don't have a big problem with this. I know you have Steph Castle as your number 2 player.
Yeah.
But I don't think he's really in the mix here for number 1. So yeah, we're expecting Risacher. Ultimately, all that matters in like they're talking about on ESPN right now is what they're going to do with Trae Young and DeJounte Murray. Are they going to trade them? It looks like Trae Young is in a lot of trade discussions right now. I think he named the Lakers, Lakers, Spurs, and another team as like preferred destinations. So that's kind of where we're at with the Hawks. They lucked into this pick. Like, let's not forget this.
Trust me, I know. You don't need to tell me. I know.
Yes, as a Pistons fan, Colin knows. But like, they were out of their picks from the DeJounte Murray trade. Like, they were screwed for a long time. And now they fall into the number 1 pick, granted, on not a great draft in terms of not an obvious number 1 guy. So this is going to be a really interesting decision. I've seen throughout the day, I don't know about you, but I've seen be like, oh, is it Risacher? Could it be somebody else? Looks like it's going to be probably Risacher.
Yeah, I think for the whole draft, though, it's going to be very interesting to see where everyone else goes. Risacher obviously seems to be a foregone conclusion at 1, but I don't think it's going to be as clear-cut like it is in years past where you can kind of pretty well gauge where 1 through 5 is going to go.
Yeah.
I think there's going to be some players that we see fall a lot. I think we're going to see a lot of players that rise a lot. So that's what I'm most excited about for this draft overall.
The dude, the Hawks are having a massive watch party in their arena right now.
What a draft to have it for.
Reese shaded, and like I'm not worried about it, but like in theory, this could be one of those ones. You look back on a few years and be like, oh, how do you take Reese Shea number one when X, Y, and Z has a better career? A lot of people compare it to the 2013 draft where Giannis ends up going, and instead of when Anthony Bennett went number one, and you have Oladipo there, so it's like I am very open to this being a draft where the number one player may very well be like end up being the fifth best player, but nobody knows who that best player is going to be.
Yeah,
It might be Tejan Salon. It might be Steph Castle. Nobody has any clue. I'm just interested here to see like if the Hawks take him, what they do with the rest of their roster.
exactly. No, I completely agree. We
Um,
actually have a comment from JD Davis. Shout out JD. What is the phone number to call in with my hot take midway through the first round when the Lakers pick Bronny? Let me just tell you something. The Lakers aren't taking Bronny. If anyone takes Bronny in the first round, I'm gonna riot.
It'll be an all-time stream moment. I don't know what we're gonna do here, if that ends up happening. But yeah, it's we should be looking at like I was looking at Bronny's drafts, like betting odds kept dropping throughout the day, and it's at
Yeah, I
like
think it was like
54
50, 53 or
yeah,
something
it's
like
at
that.
54.5 right now. So I don't expect it to. Maybe at 55. I think the Lakers have 55, so maybe, but um. Yeah, I don't see that happening. All right, the pick is in. We'll see when it is announced. I'll throw the commissioner on the screen whenever he is walking out. But at the moment, yeah, the Hawks are set. They look like giddy in the room
It's
right now.
crazy. It's
Um,
crazy. Good for them, honestly.
I honestly, if I was them, I would have traded out of this pick, I think, because I would
Yeah.
have tried to maybe get some like future picks and like tank towards 2025 potentially,
You
where
want
I
to
would
tank
think
as
it's
the
gonna.
Hawks?
I mean, if you're trading Trae Young, you're
Oh
already.
yeah, if you're trading Trae Young, yeah, but I guess
So that's where I'm like, all right, here we go. Let's see what Commissioner brings out here.
With the first pick in the 2024 NBA Draft, the Atlanta Hawks select Zachary Rizache.
bang.
I like the way he really tried to pronounce that name.
Yeah.
He's actually Rizache. Love this pick in terms of we are both at. I have him at 2 on my board. You have him at 3 on your board.
Yeah.
There are, like I said, people who have him outside the top 10 on their boards. They don't see the self-creation. They don't see they think the shooting is kind of inconsistent. They think it's kind of fluky, and it was at for Spurs. But he also played nearly 60 games last year. And with that being the case, he was going to have ups and downs. He's a young kid. And I just think this is a justified pick. That's what I think.
I completely agree.
I think he deserves to be the number one pick in this draft, in a draft where there is not a consensus number one.
And you mentioned the 61 games. I think that actually speaks volumes to what he's been able to do because he did have the high and lows. And with those highs and lows, you had a good average. And with his average, he shot 39% from three. And I don't think that shot creation or even necessarily playmaking, which are two weaknesses I have for him, is that bad of a weakness if he plays the game that I think he needs to play it. And if he's like a Rashard Lewis or even like an MPJ, like I think that's a good player to get, especially in this draft. And on top of that, I think he still can try to develop those shot creation skills.
Yeah, and he had some like nice 1-2s, counters to like closeouts that I really liked. Side steps, step backs. Like he's not just this stationary 3-point shooter here. He can do it on the move. He can do it from some range. He's a big dude, obviously at 6'8" with long arms. So do you buy the defense? Like how do you evaluate him as like a defensive player? Because we hear the word like team defender a lot.
Yeah, I mean,
like help side.
It's a very general, it's a generalized thing that you can say. I think for him, it's going to be the help side. I think he's a really good shot blocker on the help side. I don't think he's bad on ball, but he definitely needs to get quicker on ball. But in terms of team defending, I think help side defense. There was a few really good blocks, and not only that, I think passing lanes. I think he really thrived in the open court, at least in terms of being aggressive and getting down. So if that's the team defense aspect, it's not necessarily anything that's super on ball yet, which I guess is a weakness, a point of attack thing.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, and like as you can see from a couple highlights, like he does have nice little 1-2s. He has some moves in his bag that he's able to go to. I think just as he gets older, I think he's going to naturally fill out
yeah,
physically, and that'll allow him to get downhill, get to the paint, and just get more comfortable with the ball in his hands. I mean, he played on a pretty good team in France, JL Borg, and like he wasn't shy. Like it didn't look like he was overwhelmed a lot of the time. So um, I feel in the higher level competition he played at, like he again shot really well on like over 5 threes per game.
yeah,
I just when you see a guy that's 6'8", 6'9", that can shoot the ball the way he can shoot the ball, and shows flashes of being a really good defender, I'm good betting on that. I'm
yep,
100% good betting on that. Like again, in a normal draft, maybe not. Like he's not going number 1 last year. He's not. I mean, he's
yeah.
not going even number 2 last year, or 3. But in this draft, I'm cool with it.
Where do you think the Hawks move from here after you get Reese Shea instead of an Alex Sarr? We kind of alluded to that before, but
Yeah, it's the Trae Young situation is just ultimately what you have to go by. We haven't
yeah,
heard a ton about DeJounte Murray at this point. Hawks fans will let us know like what they think. But if they trade Trae Young, keep DeJounte, they're not going to be great next year. You have Reese Shea, you have like a couple of young pieces. I know Jalen Johnson's had a good year last year, so they like him. But like ultimately, the Hawks are going to kind of be in this position again next year with 2025. I don't think they're going to be pushing for the playoffs if they trade Trae Young. So
yeah, I completely agree.
all right,
All
you ready
right,
to move
yeah,
to
move on to the
number
Wizards.
2? The Washington Wizards have this pick. All indications are it's going to be Alex Sarr. Alex Sarr did not even work out for the Hawks, and I think this is talk about fit.
Yeah,
This is incredible. This is exactly what the Washington Wizards needs because they were one of the worst defensive teams in the league, worst rim protection teams in the league. Obviously, they traded Daniel Gafford, and so like that didn't help. But like they need a big man for the future, and Alex Sarr not only is that, but also has the potential to be more than that. We think.
yeah, absolutely. I mean, he's the number 1 on our boards for a reason. Instantly when he comes in the league, it's going to be defensive upside and just impact right now. I think that he's probably I'm not gonna say the best defender in the draft class because there's definitely a few others, but I think he's because he's 7'1" and he has a 7'5" wingspan, he's able to do a lot on the court, and I think he'll be able to guard 3 through 5. And like you said, that's something that the Wizards desperately need, especially at the 5 position. And on top of that, if he's able to get his 3-point shooting in, if he's able to get a little bit stronger, there's more than him just being like a defensive
Yeah, like a
stopper.
defensive
Like he can be more than that.
man. Well, also to expand on the defensive side of the ball, an 8% block percentage in the NBL, which led the league last year. This is obviously an NBL that we know is very, very good and competitive. We've seen guys like AJ Johnson struggle or not even get on the court over there. I mean, we've seen like RJ Hampton go over there. There have been a lot of players go over there and just have like average years. Trenton Flowers as well. Sarr was 17 minutes per game, 27 games played, 9.5 points, 4.5 rebounds. And here goes the pick now. Actually, here, damn, this fast. They're working now.
With the second pick in the 2024 NBA draft, the Washington Wizards select Alex Sarr
Yeah.
from Toulouse, France. Overtime elite.
Oh, they gave overtime elite a shout out there.
Wow, that's incredible, actually.
He's number 1 on our boards for a reason. Like we
Yeah.
were talking about, the defense is, I think, immediately translatable. 8% block percentage in the NBL, the 7'5" wingspan, and the versatility at 7'1" is really, really unique. And so I'm not 100% sure if I want him playing the 4 or the 5 full time. I
Right.
think it depends on the guy next to him defensively, because I would love him just to be able to roam around and kind of help and protect the rim. That's where I think he's best at. But I just think he has a lot of potential on the defensive side of the ball. Just starting off there.
Well, that's where kind of the questions are too, right? Like he weighs 224 at 7'1", and he's not super physical on the defensive end. Basically just because of strength. So it kind of, where's his role going to be on the floor, and is that going to be at the 4 or 5? Obviously, I think he has the ability to play the 5 offensively, but he doesn't necessarily have the ability to play the 4 offensively right now. So you need to see him develop that shot. I think his playmaking is definitely there, but it's going to be interesting to see how the Wizards use him. Obviously, they also Wizards traded Denny Advia for anybody who lost on that, so they'll have another pick at 14 now.
Yeah.
So it'll be interesting to see where they go at that pick.
Yeah. Talking about going back to the offense a little bit, a lot of it is theoretical right now. Like we understand that the dribble ability, the finishing, the shooting, like all of that is very theoretical. Now he was 66% at the rim, but he only shot 14 of 49 on threes this past year. So it's like, where will he go from here? A very young player, 19 years old, spent a year at Perth, which, like we talked about, is a very good league. So I'm kind of just buying him, like wherever you want to put him, the Wizards, you give him a lot of freedom and you just say, here are the keys for a bit. Like I know we have Jordan Poole and Bala Coulibaly and some dudes, but like ultimately he is their guy now, for lack of a better term.
Yeah, I mean, it's gonna him and Bilal Coulibaly, I think defensively are one already. That's a really great 1-2, and then just with their upside in general. Just to finish up, I guess, for his offensive ability, I know he finished 66% at the rim, but layups might be a problem. He's 17 to 37 on layups in the half court. Again, that's going to open up if he's able to attack closeouts, if he's able to hit the 3. But I think you and I both buy him as a player overall, so not overly concerned. Obviously, he's number 1 for a reason. So.
Yeah, my highest rated player here, I had him at a 93. For those wondering, like that would have ranked.
Our ratings
last year.
Where do I have him? Yeah, 92 for me.
And below Cam Whitmore and like guys like that. So, fluid hips. I'm still just buying in on him having the highest upside here in the draft. I just defensively, especially with what he can do, I think it makes him a pretty, like, honestly kind of safe pick, because at the very least, he's going to be a good defender that can kind of switch and work with you in a lot of different schemes. So I have comps as like Serge Ibaka, Jaren. Like I
love that Serge Ibaka comp.
Jaren Jackson Jr. is always interesting to me in terms of that like mold of player, and he is a 4, Jaren Jackson Jr. So you kind of see those similarities. Nick Claxton, Evan Mobley. Evan Mobley is the most popular one, right? Like that's the one that goes out there because he like looks like him, like build. But yeah.
All right, moving on to the Rockets here, Bruni. You and I think both, or I guess I picked for the Rockets in our mock draft. I don't know if it's as clear cut now as 1 and 2 was, but I think Reed Shepherd's probably the best fit for them, just in terms of what they need: shooting, off-ball players. Jalen Green and Sengun obviously need to have some guys they can pass to, and need a guy that can play off-ball more. They need guys that, I mean, Amin Thompson needs the ball in his hands. He can't really shoot yet. So, I think Reed Shepherd's probably the pick here. What do you think?
Yeah, that would make the most sense to me. I think when we first were doing, and obviously I watched a ton of Reed just in the SEC this past year. But as we continue to scout him more, I became like higher and higher on him, because once you get past, like, you can compensate as a lineup a lot for his like size, I think. And that's the main knock on him is, all right, he's 6'2", like, and doesn't have like a big frame or anything like that. So that's the knock on him. But ultimately, if you shoot the ball at 50% like he did in college, none of that really matters. And he's a decent defender. There was some talk about the Rockets looking to trade this pick. I don't think that's going to happen. What was you talking, right? Or
confirm that. Let me confirm that hasn't happened.
Yeah, go ahead. You're probably going to see who they pick when you do.
Yeah, that's okay.
That's all right. But yeah, Reed Shepherd, if that is the pick, I would feel pretty good about that from a Rockets perspective, because you have Reed and you have Amin Thompson as kind of your backcourt of the future. Like, I know Jalen Green is there, but we'll see. So let's see it.
With the 3rd pick in the 2023 2024 NBA Draft, the Houston Rockets select Reed Shepherd.
Yeah,
All right,
that's
stay
the
in
pick
spot.
for sure. That is the pick for sure.
That is the pick. Yeah, like I said, I love the fit here. Reed Shepherd would have fit with anybody, honestly.
Oh yeah,
Almost like as long as you have like a primary ball handler, he can play off of them, and he can do like I like him as a secondary creator, secondary ball handler, secondary shooter type guy. As I said at the beginning, if you're looking for a draft where you're gonna at the number 3 pick get a do-it-all flawless player, this isn't the draft for you. Brandon Miller and Scoot Henderson are not here.
yeah,
But Reed Shepherd at 6'2" can play on ball, can play off ball, shot the ball 52% from 3 last year, 83% from the line, made plays with 2.5 steals per game, and was just ultra like efficient, do it all, ultimate like competitor there for Kentucky. So I think it's a really good pick for Houston, and I'm excited to see the fit, like how that backcourt kind of shakes out.
yeah. I mean, you mentioned secondary ball handler. My comp was CJ McCollum. He he might not be as involved with the ball in his hands as CJ McCollum is, but I think that's a pretty good place for him to be. Obviously, some of the weaknesses we have: self creation, good handle, but he's not going to break down a defense. But again, that's not going to be his role. And then he's always going to be hounded for being 6'1". But I mean, if any player is going to be hounded for being 6'1", it's going to be him, and I think he'll do
At least
well
be
at it.
able to shoot 52%.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, yeah, just true shooting percentage of 70% is insane. 52% from 3 is insane. When he was on the court, where's my offensive 130 offensive rating?
Yeah,
like when he's on the court, like that's incredible. And all that while playing 30 minutes a game. So yeah, it'll be interesting to see where they put him in terms of point guard or shooting guard with all the guards they have. But I think it works out 100% for him. And I think he gets minutes coming in right away.
Yeah, and I don't know if they need to like rush him into anything. Obviously, with them figuring out whether it's Van Vliet or Jalen Green and so on and so forth, like they have a lot of questions in the backcourt already, and like how do they want to use Amin for the future? Like they have a lot of questions to answer. Reed Shepherd, no matter what, should be in their conversations for the future. Like they're gonna figure everything else out. Reed Shepherd as an off-ball attacker, scorer, like I just think. Like honestly, he's a pretty good passer too. 4.5 assists per game last year. Unselfish. I think Kentucky was significantly better with him on the court than off the court. So yeah, I expect him to do the same thing in Houston. To your points, like the question marks, I think you hit them all pretty much on the head. Like the usage percentage was really low.
Yeah,
but
again, that's not going to be his role. That's not going to be his role.
Yeah, it's not going to be his role, but like, how will he be able to play through contact? How will he be able to take those closeouts and attack them? Like, those are some of the questions. And does the defense hold up? Do you believe, like, how much do you believe in the defense?
Well, like I said, I think if any 6'1" guard is going to come into the NBA and be somewhat serviceable on defense, it's going to be him just because of his tenacity. Obviously, he's not probably going to get 2.5 steals per game like he did in college, but I think that one, his shooting is going to keep him on the floor, and his offense is going to keep him on the floor. And I think as long as he's not a minus defender, which I don't think he will be just because of his tenacity, then it'll be fine. I think everything will work out. So,
yeah. Well, do you have any comps real quick before we wrap it up?
Oh, just CJ McCollum. I already, like I said,
you're CJ. I have like maybe a Miles McBride, Deuce McBride from the Knicks. I thought about Peyton Pritchard, which I think he's better than Peyton Pritchard, at least in theory. So we'll see if that comes to date. A lot of people like Derek White. I think that's kind of rich, but hey, if he hits a ceiling, I think that that is the ceiling.
Kind of rich. Laughing is
a little rich.
Imagine you just like laughing with a monocle in the corner.
It's a little rich. It's a little rich for my taste, personally. All right.
Spurs.
The Spurs.
Who do you want to pick? I'm just gonna let you cook here since they're your team.
It's gotta be Steph Castle time. It has to be. Like, there's a lot of ways in which I'd be happy. Like the 8th pick, I'm happy with whatever the Spurs do. The 4th pick, I think this needs to be Stephon Castle. I think Stephon Castle is the best player available. I think he has quite pretty high upside on both sides of the ball. I think he pairs nicely with Wembanyama. You're getting a perimeter defender to pair with Wembanyama. And honestly, I just don't know who else you would take here. Like,
yeah.
like in what else are you doing here?
Yeah, you're
You're
gonna take
not
like
gonna come out
Matas Buzelis or
no, like I
the,
don't know where else they could even possibly go.
do
So like I
you?
would have been fine with Reed Shepherd, but let's see.
Oh,
Is
it's already in.
Pickens?
All right, let's go.
Oh no, it's not
Oh,
in.
well,
Or
just
I
kidding.
thought he was walking up. It's hard. I'm
um,
trying to like watch as I talk. But yeah, if Reed was on the board, I'd be fine with Reed Shepherd. Some of the concerning things here I did hear, which this will be hilarious if it actually happens, but like there was talk of like Donovan Clingan at 4 for the Spurs. And
that would just
again,
ruin you. I feel like.
to me, it wouldn't make any sense.
Yeah.
Like I would just rather take Edie at 8 if I'm gonna take a big man.
Imagine a 7'5" guy and a
Yeah.
7'4" guy.
Like that's what I would rather do. I'd rather do that at 8. I don't think like Clingan to a lot of people is the best available player here. And I know like some people say, who cares about fit? You figure it out later. I care about fit because you need shooting around Wembanyama. You need
Mhm.
playmaking around Wembanyama.
Well, shooting. If you're drafting Stephon Castle, how much do you buy his shooting and his playmaking? Because obviously those are the two knocks. And you and I believe in him, but I'm
Yes.
gonna ask
No,
you
I
that question
agree.
as
I
devil's
agree.
advocate.
The shooting is definitely the concern with Castle. I do buy it a little bit. Like I'm not like sold. I'm not out on him as a shooter, like long term, the way some people are. But I do think his playmaking makes up for it. His drive ability, his finishing ability. So let's see what the Spurs do.
With the 4th pick in the 2024 NBA draft, the San Antonio Spurs select Stephon Castle.
There you go.
I was waiting for Donovan Clingan, dude. I was so scared. I was so scared, and my chest was
Tightening up, cardiac arrest.
I was like, if he says the letter D to start this thing, I'm gonna lose my mind.
That's
Okay.
funny.
The Spurs get it right again. There's your headline. I think Stephon Castle. I think the world of Stephon Castle. First of all, he is my number 3 player, and he is tied with Ricochet for number 2 on my board. I just think that the defensive playmaking is exceptional. Like the body is already there for him to step in and contribute. I think the shooting, while it's not good right now, I think has potential to be significantly better in a couple years. And then the playmaking and the ability to get downhill. Like I'm completely bought in on Stephon Castle's upside, and with how good he was as a role player at UConn, I just want to see him next to Wembanyama because I think that's a winning player.
So my comp that I have down is Bruce Brown. Obviously, you hope that he is more than that in terms of a playmaker and basically one guard. Do you think that he's going to be more of a Bruce Brown, or do you think he'll turn out to be more of the one that he wants to be?
I don't think he steps in. Like I think the Spurs need to go get need to go get a point guard, like a veteran point guard.
Yeah.
A point guard that knows what he's doing on the court, right? Castle's not stepping in and being the starting point guard day one. He shouldn't be. He does have that ability, like the vision, the patience, the passing. You see it with Castle, and he has the size to make a lot of those passes. I would just love him as a secondary guy. Like I love him, the idea of him being able to play on the opposite side, attack closeouts, run out of ball screens on when they flip the court, like those type of things. I would love to see it. Like Wembanyama pick and pop. Stephon Castle gets downhill. He's throwing the ball. He's finishing at you. And he shot 75.5% from the line. So that's not even a concern. Yeah, I think offensively, I really don't have a ton of like major concerns except the shooting. Like that's the thing. If you can't shoot, then it is a bit of a problem because you already have Jeremy Sohan.
Yeah, and to your, I guess, to our point that we believe in it, shot 75 for 76% at the line. So,
and in high school, he was a decent shooter,
and he was a good shooter in high school.
Like,
so, I think it develops. Not only that, he has good touch. Like he has a kind of a float game. Obviously, he's able to finish well. It's just really going to be if the shooting's going to decide if he's going to be able to be the one that he wants to be. Because without it, it's going to be that utility type player role, that connecting passer role. Which is also still a really good player. Like I'd take that. So especially in this draft.
I do want to say like a couple things real quick. Defensively, I don't want to undersell him for those who maybe haven't watched him play. Like defensively, Stephon Castle is an absolute dog in this class. The top 5 defender in this class. I watched him against Baylor Shireman, take him out the game. I watched him against Terrence Shannon, take him out the game. I watched him against Alabama, guard 1 through 4. This is an elite on-ball defender. And you pair him with Victor Wembanyama, the Spurs are immediately getting significantly better defensively. So I'm very, very happy with that pick. Again, the question marks, we talked about them. Comps, ceiling wise, I mean, like Jimmy Butler, I think is a fair comparison.
That's a good comp too.
Like I think that's a wing who has the ball in his hands a lot, can create for others, not a great shooter, but a hell of a competitor on both ends. So
Yep, I like
have
that.
Jimmy.
Ceiling.
Yeah, I mean, I have like Amin Thompson down.
Yeah,
I mean, Amin was obviously, I think, a little bit more like bursty, if that's a word. It's not a word, but like he had a
quick,
little bit more pop to his game.
explosiveness.
Yeah, he had a little bit more pop, but like, I love the physicality Castle plays with, and there's like no questions there on that end. So, good pick for the Spurs. We'll be back at 8 to review then.
All right, Pistons time. This is I hate
Your time to shine now.
The problem is I don't have a player that I love at this spot. The guy who I think we're gonna probably take is Buzelis. He's 7th on my board.
Yeah.
I don't really think that Ron Holland's the type of guy you want to go with. I don't really think that Zach Edey's 5th on my board. But
can I say
different?
this? Not to pour salt in the wound of y'all guys getting the 5th pick again, but it kind of, to me, my top, like, Devin Carter is 4th on my board. He was never going to be a top 4 pick. Like, I understand that. So it's like, to me, those 4 guys, Sarr, Risacher, Castle, and Shepard, are clearly the best 4 of like.
Yeah, I agree.
Like Castle, maybe like I'm not. I'm sorry. Klingon, I'm not super high on. Buzelis is 7th on my board, but like.
Here's the thing about Buzelis, and we might talk about him too much, and he doesn't end up getting picked by them. He's confident. He's good in transition. I think his playmaking is really good. His creation is pretty good. He's shifty. I actually like his finishing, and I mean, he only shot 26% from 3, but I think there's upside there. But it's also like, is he able to be a good defender? Is he able to actually finish with his frame? Is he actually able to handle the ball? Because he can get a little out of control sometimes. So, like, if you buy a player like that on the Pistons who already are full of players like that, like Jaden Ivey's really, really good. He can get out of control sometimes. I mean, you and I have talked about this a lot. The Pistons have Cade Cunningham and a bunch of players who we don't even know if they're NBA players.
Yeah.
And I feel like they need it. I wouldn't be upset if they trade back eventually, or if this pick gets
I would
traded
love
down the
them
line.
to trade back.
I want
like
if they trade back and got
and
take
Dalton Connect at that spot. Oh, I would.
And Dalton Connect's low on my board, but I'd take it right now just because of the shooting. Like, I don't want another guy that needs the ball in his hands to flourish, especially when you don't have the knockdown shooting ability.
Yeah, or trade back and take like a.
Let me tell you, if we get Donovan McClain, I'd be pretty beside myself. Now we need rim protection, and I know people are showing
him on the ESPN broadcast.
I know people are high on Donovan McClain. I know they're high on him. I'm not high on him, so that's the only reason why I'd be upset, I guess. Hopefully he works out.
You already have Jalen Duren and Stewie.
Yeah, but Jalen Duren's not that great of a paint. I mean, his numbers inside are really bad. Our rim protection's terrible, absolutely awful. Beef Stew's more of a 4 than he is a 5 in terms of defense.
Something I heard a lot throughout the process is like, I can't imagine the Pistons taking another guy that can't shoot.
Right. So you either got to get a shooter or go rim protection,
but like, who would you take as a shooter here?
Exactly. So you'd have to reach and get Dalton Connect, which I don't remember where he's on my board. He's like 17. Where is he?
Yeah, something like that.
18 for me. So like, and that's nothing against him because I think he can shoot the hell out of the ball. It's just I don't believe his defense and I don't believe his foot speed and his creation. But I think he can shoot. He'll be able to shoot at the NBA level, but he's not Reed Shepard.
Here are your boys.
Oh, I thought they were about to pick. I just wanted clutching my chest.
I just wanted to show you the boys real quick.
So I mean, I hope they trade back. Let me see if they trade back. Actually, you should check so that I don't see who they pick.
Yeah, let's check.
Yeah, that's the way to go about it. I mean, if they trade back here and you trade back and you get Dalton Connect, then I think that's probably a better thing. But they just need NBA players. They need vets. Oh, here we go. All right.
With the 5th pick in the 2024 NBA draft, the Detroit Pistons select Ron Holland II from Dallas, Texas, and the NBA.
I saw the pick beforehand on Twitter.
I saw your face, and I was like, it's either Klingon or it's somebody else. Listen, all right, let me get this out of the way. I think Ron Holland, although he's 6 on my board, I think he has a much higher ceiling than Buzelis does. Ron Holland, though, like you just said, like we just said, we can't imagine the Pistons taking a guy who can't shoot the ball. Ron Holland shot 24% from three. So it's like you got Asar who shot 18% from three last year, if I remember correctly. You got this guy shooting 24%. You got Ivy. You got Ivy, who's not a knockdown 3-point shooter, although he can kind of hit it. And then you got Cade, who's
Jalen Duren.
Jalen Duren. You got Isaiah Stewart might be the leading 3-point shooter on our team outside Cade.
Just wait till you get Tim Hardaway Jr. Just wait. Yeah. Then all the problems are solved.
That's fine. Salary dump, whatever. But let me talk about the upsides for Ron Holland first.
Go ahead. Defense, because we both have him 6th on our board.
Yeah, he's 6th for a reason. I haven't defended to Andre Iguodala in his prime. I think defensively he'll be able to guard 1 through 4. I think he can even hang around like guarding the 5. Sometimes he's 6'8" with a 6'11" wingspan. Like that's really good. Playmaking, I think it's there. Athleticism, it's there. Obviously he's 18, not even 19 yet, and the upsides is obviously enticing. But again, you're getting more and more players that the upside is always enticing. Jaden Ivey's like the same type of archetype. Asar is the same type of archetype, a guy that's really athletic and can play make and can get downhill. And they're all things that I love. All things that I love. But shooting, man. Shooting.
Okay. Trading back would have been my number 1 choice for the Pistons. They did.
Agreed.
Second choice, though? Ron, like I have done.
I'm not. Like Ron Holland's,
like, this might be best case scenario here.
It's highest ceiling for sure.
Quality and player ceiling.
Yeah.
Ron Holland has it. He has the motor. He has the defensive mentality that honestly not a ton of Pistons have. Defensively, like he's a little raw around the edges defensively, but he's a dog. He'll get in.
He's a dog. He's a dog.
Defense.
Thank you. You're talking him up.
His ass off. And I think that is very valuable. Like he was a top 3 player coming out of high school 2 years ago for a reason. Now he's the number 5 pick in the draft. I'm fine betting on his upside here as a guy who can get downhill, high level athlete, high motor, 44 dunks in 29 games. A lot of those were in transition, and I don't know, you know better than me in terms of the Pistons transition offense, but
our offense was garbage last year.
You have a guy who can now grab and go to that level. And he's a good rebounder. So without the coach, Ron Holland.
Without the coach, we don't really know how the Pistons are going to play. Obviously, you're able to run the floor with Jaden Ivey. Obviously, Cade's able to do what Cade can do in transition. But Monty was just old school coach, and it just didn't look good at all. Now, if they actually play fast, like and play exciting, I'm all in. But now you have a guy. You're kind of on the wing. You got Asar. You got Ron Holland.
You're right.
I think there's going to be a reckoning. I think now. In terms
they need to consolidate. That's the word. I think
exactly. And there's definitely going to be some trades. But to your point, I think offensively now what he can do, he's a playmaker, like really, really good playmaker. Basically went from high school player to overnight primary ball handler in the G League. So
I think he has playmaking potential. I don't know if he's there.
I like his playmaking. I'm really high on his playmaking though. Okay. Athleticism, I think he's able to cut really well and fill lanes really well. So like those are instantly things that I think he does really well that a lot of players, like you said on the Pistons, don't do that well. And he is a dog. So now that you've kind of talked me into a little bit, because I didn't like Buzelis here at 5. Ron Holland's definitely.
I wouldn't have liked Buzelis
definitely
at 5 either.
Yeah.
I don't like Holland is the best available. If you're drafting here, he's the best available.
Yeah.
I have Devin Carter higher, sure, but like who cares? Ron Holland is a higher upside for sure. To talk a little bit more like of the negatives on my side, not super comfortable driving with his left. I'm interested to see like what level of ball handler he can be. Like he is 6'7", so in theory, like you should be able to handle like maybe.
See, that's why I like it. I like his ball handling a lot.
So you're buying the ball handling and the creation a little bit more than me. But the shooting is like for Pistons fans who don't know, it's just like I have given up any hope of Ron Holland being a good shooter. I think Steph Pascal has a better shot of being a shooter. I have to go. I think Buzelis has a better chance of being a shooter. There's one more that I'm forgetting off the top of my head, but like.
For comparison between Buzelis and Ron Holland attempted 3.3 attempts, basically made almost 24% chance or 24%. And then Buzelis shot 3.4, made 0.9, 26%. But his shot definitely looks better. I mean, Holland kind of puts like both hands on the ball. It's not really a consistent jump shot.
It goes left, right, short. I think I wish I could remember the stat. It was some stupid number. the amount of his shots, like almost like 20%, I think it was, that were either all backboard or air ball.
Now, I will say, going from the high school 3-point line, he shot 43% in high school.
Yeah,
Going
he
from
did
that
good
to
back
the
then.
NBA
Yeah,
3-point line is
fair,
a big difference.
fair.
So,
Fair.
and the Pistons just signed, or not signed, they just hired, I forgot the shooting
Yeah,
coach's name
shooting
already
coach.
from the Pelicans,
Mhm.
but he's done wonders with a lot of players. Lonzo is one of them.
He's gonna have to do a lot of wonders here. He's gonna have to.
Yes,
There's gonna be a wonder of the world if he
between
fucking
a
do
star
this. I don't
between a
know.
star and Ron Hall, it's gonna be interesting. But no, you've talked me into liking this pick a lot more, so thank you. It's not the end of the world. I think
You're
I'm just
welcome.
tired of being fifth. So
Yeah, that would piss me off more than anything. Because like, imagine Reed Shepherd. Ooh, sorry, I don't want to like just
no, it's
bring
okay.
random players onto your board. Like, imagine Zachary Ricochet. Sorry. But anyways, let's move on.
Moving on.
Let's move on. Who's
Charlotte.
next? Charlotte. This has been one where honestly I've listened to and watched a lot of like mock drafts.
Mm-hmm.
Like the hope was Stephon Castle was gonna fall to them at 6. That was quickly snipped,
Nixed.
obviously.
Yeah.
I even saw someone say they could take Dalton Connect here.
That's interesting.
They obviously already have Mark Williams as their center that they like for the future. So then it becomes like they're not gonna take Rob Dillingham. Do they take Matas? Like, I guess, but I don't
They're
know.
weird. That's interesting because there's not a lot. I wouldn't be surprised if a trade back. Maybe.
Oh, like this is the spot where a lot of people have teams trading up for Klingon.
Yeah.
Like this.
Yeah, it was Detroit. It was
only
Detroit
spot.
and in Charlotte. Yeah.
Because Portland could very well take Klingon at 7, and if not, obviously the Grizzlies will take him at 8. But like this is the spot where if you want Klingon and you have whatever pick, or if you're the Grizzlies and you need to trade up, like this is where you need to do that. And I said Memphis at 8. I meant Memphis at 9. But like that's where you trade up to get Klingon is right here, because if you're Charlotte, you can trade back to Memphis' spot and get Connect. Like you could trade back and get Devin Carter, like if you want him. Like you can trade back and get a lot of these guys that I don't know.
If I was picking here, I don't remember who we did in our mock draft because I think it went differently. I think Ron Holland went here for us. I think Devin Carter.
I would like Ron Holland too.
I think Devin Carter is like if it was us, obviously.
Yeah. If it's me, I'm taking Devin Carter, and I'm not.
Yeah, just because he's just he's a dog and he's able to do. Yeah. He can shoot. He can get to the basket. He can handle the ball. Kind of a utility player. Is he walking up? Oh.
In the 2024 NBA draft, the Charlotte Hornets select Tijian Salon.
They took Salon.
What a reach!
The Spurs can't take him at 8, baby.
What a reach! No way.
Tijan Salon. Look, I think it's a bad pick. I'm just gonna go on record right now.
No,
I think it's a bad pick.
Of course it is.
I think it's a bad pick. He has risen significantly over the past month. Like seriously, going from like outside the lottery to now being the number 6 pick in the NBA draft.
That's crazy. Here's the thing.
It is all projection. It's
all
I mean,
projection.
I'm cool if he turns into Giannis. I'm wrong. I'll bite the bullet. I'm just not gonna bet on him to be Giannis.
Yeah, where was he on our boards? I had him 20.
24 on my board.
I actually had him 19. I moved him up last second. I guess I forgot about that.
Somebody likes him.
Here's the thing. It was only, as we talked about in our big board, I actually remember now, it's purely based off of his upside, being really young, having an NBA ready body. I kind of believe in his shooting, even though he only shot 31% from 3.
Yeah.
But taking him 6th, I mean, that's...
I would have traded back.
I don't even know what to say.
You can't tell me that there's no way of trading back.
Here's the thing. He's 2 years away from being 2 years away. Like he's not ready to play basketball at this level right now.
Yeah, no, I don't think he is at all. Incredible, like awful at the rim on layups, almost like 40% at the rim on non-dunks in the half court. Like he's literally not comfortable dribbling or getting to the rim, finishing at the rim when it's not a dunk. Everything you'll see is a dunk, which is why, again, I said if you want to bet on him being Giannis, cool. All right. Bet on him being Giannis, but don't take him at 6.
Yeah.
Giannis went at 15.
That's
Like
crazy.
just take it. Like you don't need to reach this high.
You-
7'1" wingspan. I think he showed like flashes defensively. Like he tries. And the thing that I've heard that you hear a lot of and you see it on tape is the competitiveness, right? Like that's
Right.
what it's like. Oh man, he fights like hell. Like he is a really, really good competitor, which is cool. But at a certain point in these games, and really anytime you've been able to watch him, it's like, how does he impact winning on either side of the ball, like on a consistent basis?
Yeah.
And I just don't see that enough right now.
Yeah. I mean, his role that he was playing last season was basically in the corner, had to be set up every single time. Not a
He
lot of
wouldn't
shot.
move from the corner for like 10
Right.
straight possessions.
Yeah. So yeah, he has the NBA body. Yeah, he has like some slashing ability. Yeah, he's able to play or theoretically play defense and is able to hustle. But offensively, he shot 40% overall, 31% from three, has to be set up for everything. Basketball IQ is not there completely yet. Like this is going to be a guy that might be in the G League 2 or 3 years before you even see him.
No, they'll throw him out there, I bet. After
I mean,
1 year.
you have to if you're taking
They're
him
gonna
6th.
they're gonna throw him out there. And the problem is I actually don't even think the Hornets are that bad because I think they can make a move and pair with like LaMelo with somebody.
Yeah.
I mean LaMelo and Brandon Miller alone right now
Yeah.
I think are competitive in terms of like being in potential play-in team in the
Yeah.
East. And now you're taking Tajon Salon and he can't help you this year. I'm fine with being wrong on that because I just don't see it. And I don't think anybody really sees it. I think a lot of the people raising him on their boards were saying, oh, this guy's going to be taken in the top 10. Let's raise him in order to agree with where he's going to be taken.
Yeah.
And I don't see that. And there's nothing you can show me on film that says that guy's going to be able to help us in 2025 or 2026.
Yep. I completely agree.
And at that point, where are you as a Hornets organization? You're 3 years into Brandon Miller. You're 5 years into LaMelo. Like, it's just an interesting choice. I don't like him with the ball in his hands at all.
Oh, I mean, yeah.
There you go. All right, we need to move on.
Portland needs a center. I guess Klingon is going to go here.
I would think so. Oh, look at that. It's on the board. We spent so much time on Salon.
Blazers
ran to the podium. I'm
Good
assuming.
for them. They knew.
NBA draft. The Portland Trailblazers select Donovan
Yeah.
Klingon.
Good for them. Good for Klingon. Obviously, I have him really low on my board. He is 15th on my board. Where is he for you?
I have him
11th. You have an 11th.
Not nearly.
Defensively, really good. Positionally, I don't think he's going to be a liability necessarily off of screens. Like he's able to kind of play up to the 3-point line. Opponent shot 43% at the rim, had an 11% block percentage. Like very solid player, positionally very good. Why I have him so low is I just personally don't think he only played 22 and a half minutes per game, injury issues, had some foot strains, is almost 300 pounds. Yeah. And the reason why I have Zach 85, just to counter that, is like Zach 80 performed way better at all not way better, but better at all the combine things, taller, more athletic, able to score, more durable. Yeah. And that's the thing too, is do you buy Don McClingon's scoring ability? A lot of people have been recently. I think he's able to finish, like play finish, but I don't know. I'm not sure if that's going to really translate with, I don't want to say physicalness, but just, I guess I just don't believe his offensive upside. I mean, I don't like his push shot. He's not that explosive. He's not super skilled. You're getting him here for defense and rebounding. And I don't know. I mean, I just don't know if that's warranting the 7th pick for me.
Yeah. I agree. I mean, I have him 11th on my board, so not like a huge disparity. My problem was always with the thought of him going 1, 2, 3, 4, like in the top 5.
Oh yeah.
I don't think he should ever go in the top 5. 7, I actually don't have a real problem with it, especially with the needs of the Portland Trailblazers. The teams didn't post him up really besides Zach Edey. They were 5 of 33 on post shots against him and outside of Edey. Who we are both quite high on. Really good screener, good offensive rebounder, and the rim protection and the passing, right? As you can see on a couple highlights right there. I think I credit a lot of the passing highlights to the UConn offense. but at the same time, you have to also, give him some credit in being able to make those reads. So I do think he's a quality player. Ultimately, the offense is a massive concern to me. I don't think he's consistent as a lob threat. I don't think he's consistent as a finisher. Cannot attack mismatches at all. 29-inch vertical just doesn't get up for really anything as a lob threat. So yeah, and 58% from the free throw line. Let's not forget that. So you can very well hack him if you need to. So yeah, I don't see the shooting upside. I really don't see the free throw upside. And like you said, there's already some concerns in terms of he didn't play a heavy minutes load, even as a sophomore on a UConn team. And I know they blew out a lot of teams, but I didn't really see that. So my comps is Walker Kessler, but honestly, I was higher on Walker Kessler out of college in terms of shot blocking.
I think Walker Kessler in general was more of an elite defender.
And then Andrew Bogut, I think, is my favorite one because you had a little bit of passing there, and you had the size, and wasn't super athletic, but was smart. So I have Andrew Bogut.
Yeah, I got Walker Kessler down as well. Now I think his ceiling, he could be a high level starter, but I don't know. I don't know if the difference between floor and ceiling here, for me, I guess for the need for Portland, you have to take a center seventh, and I get it, but
he would have been gone. I
get it, for sure. Just in terms of an overall prospect, it's hard for me to see if he actually is truly able to reach that ceiling. So, yeah.
All right,
let's move on.
Up, Spurs back on the clock.
Who do you want?
Ooh, hold on, who is even available? I need to start crossing players off of my board whenever we see this.
That's very true.
In
the mock, who do we have in the mock?
Matas Buzelis is available. Rob Dillingham, Dalton Connect, Zach Edey.
Let me tell you who. Man, Zach Edey would be so funny. Zach Edey would be.
I'm telling you, I think I said this before. I'm cool with almost any pick here. Literally, they could take Topic, honestly, and I would not be mad. I would not be mad. All right, we have our point guard for the next 10 years, and even if he's not great, he's at least a body. I would kind of be a little puzzled at Buzelis because then you're taking two non-shooters here. Granted, he does have that athletic upside, but you already have Jeremy Sohan, so I wouldn't love the Buzelis pick. That's probably the one I would Connect. I would Rob Dillingham.
I think Devin Carter.
Oh, I forgot about Devin. Sorry, thank you for reminding me. Oh, my heart.
Devin Carter.
We love Devin Carter here.
Stephon Castle.
Devin Carter. Oh,
defensively, Wemby, Devin Carter, and Stephon Castle. That's already a problem. Thing with Devin Carter, though, is he can shoot already. He's already proven to have the ball in his hands. He's already proven to, I think, be more well-rounded offensive player than Stephon Castle is. Obviously, I think Castle has a higher upside, but Devin Carter, he's going to come in and instantly be a utility guy. That's a high-level utility guy. And that's, if Castle works out, that's just the guy you need on the Spurs. Yeah. Just the guy you need on the Spurs.
I wouldn't like Cody Williams here either, really. I wouldn't be mad at it because, I guess it's an upside.
Where do you have Cody Williams?
I have him at 18.
But you would be mad at Cody Williams here?
I don't think I'd be mad at Cody Williams. Look, they already got Stephon Castle. If they had taken Klingon, then I'd be in a panic right now. But
panic, shaking.
Yeah, Buzelis is the only one I'm looking at. That doesn't really make sense to me. So I would love Devin Carter. I would love Rob Dillingham. I would love Dalton Connect.
Look, you guys traded this.
Oh, okay. Let's hear it.
He could be on the move to Minnesota. I know who they're going to pick. Do you want me to tell you who they're going to pick?
Wait, hold on.
They're going to make this pick for Minnesota.
We're trading with Minnesota.
Yeah.
So Minnesota's trading up.
Yes. According to Shams.
Okay. Who did the Spurs get?
Oh, I don't know yet. I just know it's being traded.
Okay.
So you guys are picking. You're picking for Minnesota.
Flip to the Timberwolves. Let's just flip to the Timberwolves.
Okay.
Okay. We didn't prep anything for them because they weren't
this early. No, I think in our mock we picked Terrence Shannon.
No, they were at
27.
Where 27?
Yeah.
Yeah, 27. Oh, here we go. It's all happening so fast.
The 8th pick in the 2024 NBA
So this is going to the Timberwolves.
The San Antonio Spurs select Rob Dillingham.
Yes. San Antonio. So according to Shams, San Antonio is selecting Rob Dillingham at number 8. He could be on the move to Minnesota, sources say. So
What does could mean, Shams? What does could?
that's the first time he said that to about any of these picks. So I'm assuming he's going to go to Minnesota.
Yeah, I'm assuming so.
So
What an interesting.
what's funny is that we actually said that y'all would get Castle and Rob Dillingham and keep Rob Dillingham. So that's kind of funny.
We did. That was in our mock. We had Castle and Dillingham.
Let me think about this real quick. I need to think about this pick.
Okay, listen. What was the Timberwolves' problem in their
I mean, the reason we picked Terrence Shannon was because they needed someone to shoot, and you needed somebody to create.
They needed another creator. Like ultimately, I love Mike Conley. Ultimately, like I love the wing defenders they have, like Nickeil Alexander-Walker and Jaden McDaniels. But you need a guy who has some juice off the dribble, even if that's strictly off the bench for the next 5 years. Rob Dillingham is that type of player, and I think for the Timberwolves immediately helps them in terms of like, all right, Anthony Edwards maybe isn't on tonight.
Yeah,
can Rob Dillingham give us 15 points, kind of like Jaden Hardy did with the Mavericks right this past year?
Here's the thing too is I think Rob Dillingham out of everyone in the draft class, and I forgot who said this too, so I apologize because I'm taking it from them. Like he's the only guy in this class right now that I think could give you like a 30 ball like this year. He's probably the best pure scorer. I mean, he is the best pure scorer in this draft. Problem is he's 6 foot. Yeah. So obviously that's gonna cause some problems. Defensively, he's not that great, but in terms of just a pure scorer, 15 points, 47% field goal percentage, 44% from 3, is able to fill it up in any possible way that you could ever imagine. Shot 50% from the pick and roll. Like this guy is dynamic. Now you got to believe in his physicality. And if he's able to play some defense, he can definitely get caught watching a lot. But if you want a pure scorer, this is the guy. And my comp, just real quick, is Brandon Jennings. I think Brandon Jennings, same type of build, same type of fluid athlete that Rob Dillingham is. I think Rob Dillingham might be a better shot creator than Brandon Jennings. I don't think Brandon Jennings went to college.
But Woj is also, sorry to interrupt you. Rob Dillingham has been traded to Minnesota.
Okay. Yeah, I'm glad we confirmed that. Otherwise, we just wasted all our time. But yeah, I think he's a microwave scorer, and I think that he's a guy that could be like 6 man of the year type, like multi-time, if he's able to get his defense around. Yeah.
Rob Dillingham, I actually like this a lot for the Timberwolves. So I'm pat on the back for them.
Do you know what the Spurs are trading?
No, you mean what they're getting? Spurs.
Yeah, what they're getting. Yeah.
No, we don't know yet. But I like this a lot for the Timberwolves. Now that we've thought about it, and it's like, all right, another playmaker, Lou Williams type guy, like you said, Brandon Jennings type guy.
I will say it depends on what they give up, because the team did obviously just make the conference finals, and if you give up, you are like Rob Dillingham can fill it up, but you also have to buy that he's able to be something on defense. I mean, he's 6 foot with a 6'3" wingspan, and he weighs $160. Like, that's not something not to be concerned about.
And again, people who will watch this on the YouTube afterwards will be able to tell us in retrospect, oh, it's a great trade, oh, it's an awful trade, whatever. But like, you did just have the number one defense, and it is something to hang your hat on. I'm assuming they gave up future compensation.
Yeah.
I'm just going to assume that they gave up maybe next year's first or something like that. Like, I don't think they gave up a player. Or maybe I'm trying to think who the back end of their rotation is, or maybe a G League guy that they have. I don't know. But we'll monitor that to see who the Timberwolves will have. But for YouTube purposes of people watching after the fact, I think it's a good pick. Like you said, the defense is concerning. Will he be able to play year one? I don't think so on a team that's trying to make the finals. But in the regular season, I think he could definitely take a lot of stress off of your scores. I have like Terry Rozier, Jordan Poole type. Where was he on our boards? Here, let me see.
I had him really high. You had him 8th. I think I had him 9th. Yeah.
Yeah, 8th and 9th. So we're number 8th, but I'm cool with it.
All right. Who moves on to next? Sorry.
The Grizzlies.
Well, they needed a center. Still need a center.
There was talk the entire week that they were aggressively trying to trade up.
Mm-hmm.
Now we see what happens when they don't trade up.
With the 9th pick in the 2024 NBA draft, the Memphis Grizzlies select Zach Edey.
I love this pick. I think we're pretty close to being we're like 80% right now in our mock draft, which is pretty good.
We're doing really well.
We're doing really well right now. Listen, Zach Edey at 9. Let me talk him up since he's 5th on my board.
Yeah,
Zach Edey at 9. I love this pick. He's 5th on my board. Just because you have a guy that's 7'5", 7'10" wingspan, doesn't have to jump to dunk, and is just a freak of nature. Like, he's an outlier that, I keep saying this, in 2004 would have gone 1 or 2. So 20 years ago, he would have gone 1 or 2 in any draft 20 years ago. And for me to sit here and say that a guy that is a complete outlier and we've never seen this type of player before and never will has to go later than this, I don't think that's right. Like, I think he instantly can come in, be a really good role player that can score, be really physical. And then for ceiling wise, like, I don't know who he can be because he is just such a different type of player. Obviously, we already talked about him being better at the combine stats than Donovan Clingan. He's not as good as a defender, but size is obviously a plus here. He's not able to move as well as Clingan on the defensive end, but I think that overall, this is a guy who can come in, instantly be a role player. My comps are Jonas Valanciunas, and he's just a very physical center, and I think he fits what the Grizzlies want, just 100%.
Back-to-back Naismith Player of the Year, averaged 25 points, 12.5 rebounds, 2.2 blocks on 62% shooting, 71% from the free throw line, played 32 minutes per game for Purdue last year, and obviously was the focal point of every single thing Purdue did on their way to the title game. Best screener in this draft, which, as we know, is going to be huge for Ja Morant. Pretty good roller. Like, I think that's honestly underrated because he's not like a rim running threat per se. Pretty good roller, decent lob threat, can make quick decisions, quick floaters, quick passes. Like, I love his offensive game, and I think that immediately puts him on the floor.
And I think despite it being him being obviously a really good post scorer and that kind of not being a thing in today's NBA, I think just because of his size and his just pure scoring ability, it doesn't matter. I don't think it matters at all. And with that, I think he's able to, like you said, with Ja Morant, able to roll. He played 32 minutes a game and he's 300 pounds, like 7'5", again, 7'10" wingspan. This guy, to me, is going to be incredible. He's working on his 3, but I don't really buy that for anybody who thinks that's
I have him number 10 on my board for context, so I'm not quite as high, but I do like this pick quite a bit. Let me make sure. When he played with Ivy, I thought they looked comfortable, playing off of each other. Now, he hasn't played with great guards since then. I'm interested to see how he plays with Morant. I do think he can seal really well and just kind of get those dump-in passes. Not technically post-ups, but dump-ins. And he's a good rebounder. I think, honestly, he could be even better. So we'll see how he does. But those are the positives. Now, the question marks, there are going to be matchups where he can't play defensively. Like, he's not going to be able to play against Porzingis and the Celtics. Like, it's just not
right.
Or the Thunder.
That's where you have to make sure that you pair him with a guy at the 4 who's able to deal with that.
Well, not even that. Like ceiling wise, unless if he's Shaquille O'Neal on offense, like you're gonna have matchups where he is in trouble. All right, we gotta move on. Next pick.
Our picks are already in. Jeez.
Yeah, we gotta go faster.
2024 NBA draft. The Utah Jazz select Cody Williams.
Okay. Cody Williams. Here, let's finish up on Edey real quick. Yeah, Zach Edey, defensively will be a question mark, and we'll see, I think on the break, in terms of open court, we'll see how fast he runs. But yeah, I have Zydrunas, Ilgauskas, and Steven Adams as my comps. So
there we go.
There's Zach Edey. Cody Williams to the Utah Jazz.
Make sure this pick's not getting traded.
This is one where I thought Ron Holland, if he fell, would go here potentially. And now that he's gone, I would have liked maybe even a Devin Carter here. I'm just gonna look. Last year it was Cam Whitmore, where every single pick we said they should have taken Cam Whitmore. This year it's gonna be Devin Carter. All right, I'm just gonna say every single pick should be Devin Carter. But Cody Williams, fine pick. Maybe Matas Buzelis, but you already have Lauri Markkanen. I just don't know the direction of the Jazz right now.
Yeah.
Do they keep Lauri Markkanen? Do they, you have Keontae George now, you have Con Sexton, you have like these pieces, but how do they fit together? And so I'm okay with taking Cody Williams because he is a project to me.
See, I just don't believe in the project, I guess, which is why I have him so low.
Where do you have him?
I think he's like 21 or something like that. I don't have my big board up anymore.
I'll tell you what, I would have rather than pick Topic.
I would have rather Topic. I would have rather who else is in my
Carter.
Well, yeah, Carter. But I mean, in terms of projects, sorry,
projects. Topic. No, I think that's really it.
I mean,
all right, if Salon was on the board, would you rather have Salon, or would you have Cody Williams?
That's tough.
All right. Well, we got to move a little quicker since we were behind.
Yeah, listen, for Cody Williams, like I think he can be a defensive wing. I think if he's able to, if his shot's actually real.
Yeah.
I know he shot 41%, but that was on less than 2 attempts a game, and he wasn't very assertive with it. I think he could be like a Trevor Ariza. Like that's what I have. Trevor Ariza type guy. Is able to do some passing. I do not buy any of he's his brother. He's going to be able to really have the ball in his hands a lot. I just don't see that with his playmaking. I think he's going to be like a third, maybe third or fourth type of playmaker, good connecting passer.
Yeah.
But you gotta put it all together. And I'm not sure that his shooting, I don't think even despite some of his athleticism, he's below the rim finisher, doesn't really have a great first step.
Yeah.
And he defers a lot. And for a guy that you want to be a project, like I'm not sure that, like when you watch Colorado, you never really was like, oh yeah, Cody Williams, like he never had a game where you're like, oh yeah, this is Cody Williams going to be really, really good. And similar to Saloon, right? Like had to be set up a lot, didn't really have the ball in his hands a whole lot, more than Saloon, just because he is a better playmaker. But I just don't buy I don't really buy the upside in terms of his playmaking or shot. So
yeah, and he did have a couple of injuries last year that maybe hindered him a little bit. I even in the games before the injuries, I was never like blown away. I don't think he has a good in-between game at all. Motors was bad. Touch around in the mid-range was bad. Like had a pretty bad turnover rate. 24% in games against tier A and B teams, according to Ken Palm. So yeah, you're kind of just hoping he fills out like his brother did. The shot comes around, and then you have a 3-and-D wing like at your services 2 years from now. And it's a gamble. Like I guess my only point is I guess the Jazz are okay taking this gamble because they're not going to be competitive at any in the next 2 years. So we'll see where they're at.
Just to revisit the Spurs, Timberwolves traded 2031 unprotected first rounder, a 2030 swap top.
Hold on, you said that way too fast.
2031 unprotected first rounder and a 2030 swap top 1 protected. So they're picking 27 still. I
like it.
Damn, all right,
first for that.
First
scout in the 2030 class, baby. sounds wild. I don't know if I'm gonna say it.
All right. Next team, Jesus. Bulls. The Bulls are next. Man, shout out them for making the trade. Finally.
Yeah. So they. Talk us through their situation here.
They traded Alex Caruso for Josh Giddey.
Okay. Yes. I thought you were talking about a different trade. I was like,
no. Lonzo Ball. Obviously, I'm not sure that he's gonna play basketball ever again in his life, but we'll see. I know, but giving them time here.
Chicago with Giddey now is going. I think needs to go young.
I think they got to go project. I think they tear it down. DeMar's old.
Buzelis?
Zach LaVine.
Does Buzelis make sense if you have Giddey? Like I don't know. I know a lot of people say point Giddey, but like,
I think if you're gonna like, to me, like you look at Lonzo Ball, you look at Giddey, like we kind of know what both those players are. And if you are going to reset truly, I think this would be a great spot to take Topic.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously he probably won't play a lot next year, if at all. But I think just if you want to go upside here, I think Topic is the project player that you're going to want if you're the Bulls. And I really can't imagine anything else for them. I mean, you could get Buzelis, but I think Topic's ceiling is higher than Buzelis. I just think Topic's floor is lower. So that's kind of where I'm at with them.
I don't even. I'm trying to think where else they could go potentially.
Like if we're checking out projects like Khalil Ware,
I had
early for
ESPN
everybody
mocked up
else.
here. Let's see where the ESPN had mocked before going into today.
Rob Dillingham
Devin
is what
Carter.
people had. Devin Carter. See, but Devin Carter, I feel like is a guy that you kind of know what he already is, and if you are rebuilding, I don't know if he does what you want in terms of upside here.
The Bulls viewed by many as Carter's floor. Other prospects linked to Chicago, Ron Holland and Terrence Shannon Jr. I did hear Terrence Shannon Jr. had a really good workout with them. How crazy would that be?
That'd be
They
a
took
reach. I
Terrence
feel like.
Shannon at 11. So yeah, I guess Devin Carter in theory could be the pick here. I would like that. Obviously, as a Devin Carter fan, I think he's just an awesome player. You pair him with Ayo Sumu, Kobe White. You have a really interesting backcourt for the future. You just got to get rid of those old guys and just let them play at some point. And then you have Giddey who can create as well. So honestly, I think that's I'm talking myself into picks as we go tonight. I'm gonna keep doing it. I think that's a good pick here if they take Devin Carter. So
I'm selling Team Topich.
they just keep showing Michael Jordan highlights the past 15 minutes. So I'm wondering if the pick will ever come in.
It's just Michael Jordan.
Sure.
It's
They do
just
know
Michael Jordan.
Almost 30 years ago at this point. Yeah, 1984 draft. That's what we're talking about here. I would like Devin Carter. I would like Devin Carter right now. I'm cool with that.
Okay.
Jacoby Walter, Bub Carrington, Jared McCain.
How far does Buzelis fall?
Yeah, if he doesn't go here, whew, got the Thunder next, and then the Kings. The Kings would take him. I'm pretty sure. I would assume.
Here we go.
Pick in the 2024 NBA draft, the Chicago Bulls select Matis Buzelis.
Wow.
Interesting.
So Devin Carter's falling now. All right, Matis Buzelis.
Good for him.
Matis Buzelis. We're both relatively high on him, right? Where's he on?
Yeah, I'm high on him. I just don't know. I mean, I guess fit doesn't matter if you are rebuilding. I mean, I think his ceiling is pretty good. Obviously he's seventh on my board.
Yeah, seventh on mine as well.
Was fifth at one point. 6'10" with a 6'10" wingspan. Shooting wasn't necessarily there, only 26%, but his shot looks really good. Playmaking, I really liked his transition. I liked his confidence. I actually did like his finishing. Has a soft touch, has a variety of finishes, floaters, hooks. Is able to play finish with some dunks. And if he's able to figure out the shooting, I think offensively he can be really good. Some of my comps, I got Franz Wagner, I got Mike Dunleavy, which is kind of a throwback, but those are two comps I got.
My comp is hopefully Franz Wagner.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, okay, yeah. Hopefully,
I think Franz Wagner came in with a little bit more polish to his game. All right, Matis Buzelis, 32 minutes per game in G League Ignite, 14 points, 7 boards, 2 assists, 2 turnovers, 27% from 3, 68% from the line. Ultimately, I think the flashes are what you're kind of betting on here. I don't love him as a playmaker. I think he has like good feel at times, but he just has just as many turnovers as assists, and I think that shows out on tape. The scoring feel is good, and I think you hit the nail on the head. Like the shooting form is promising.
Yeah, it looks pretty good.
Work and getting to a consistent level, because if he can shoot, you can see the athleticism on drives and when the paint opens up for him. That's what you're betting on, is that athleticism to be a really, really consistent 4-man for a team. And also you go back, the Rising Stars game against Chet Holmgren, Jabari Smith, Brandon Miller, he was like one of the best players on the court in every setting that he played in that on that day. So I'm really interested to see how he shapes out his game.
Yeah, just a couple minuses here. Yeah. Although he is able to kind of, be shifty for his size, he can definitely get out of control. Like you said, you already mentioned the turnovers. He's not, I guess consistency is the very big thing. Like his handle can get out of control. Yes, he can finish if he's going downhill, but against contact, like his frame's not that big. So he's going to have to figure out how to put some muscle on and some strength, because finishing through contact is definitely a problem. And then even with his offhand is a little bit iffy.
Yeah.
And then defensively, like, good team defender, but is he able to guard those quicker players? Is he able to get through screens? That was a problem for me when I was watching him, is that he wasn't really getting through screens as easily as you'd like. And that kind of puts into question where he'll play, because obviously I think he has to play the 3 because he's not strong enough to play the 4, despite his height. So he's kind of almost like a tweener, and you really need him to offensively round out, I think, in order for him to be a hit here.
One of the most frustrating stats that I had seen was that he only had 2 free throw attempts per game. So
yeah, his free throw rate was 0.172. So
it was very much like he could get bumped off, was unorthodox, was unable to really like gather himself on those drives. So yeah, it's a big concern. I think he just needs to get stronger. He needs to get more confident. I think this speaks to the Bulls like long-term outlook way more than like a Devin Carter would in terms of them building in the near future. I think this is like a 5-year plan now in terms of what they're going to be able to do. So, good for Matas. Is that the last of the G Leagues? Buzelis, well,
Tyler Smith.
Tyler Smith.
Yeah.
So we'll see. But yeah, does it for Buzelis. I think overall it's a good pick.
Yeah.
It's a guy we thought could have gone 5 for what it's worth. And we
That's
have him
true.
7th on our board. So it has to be a good pick at that point.
All right. Let's move on to the OKC Thunder.
Devin Carter just fall in their lap?
I think if you're the number 1 seed, I think you stop going upside here and you go for who's the player that can help you the most right now. And I think Devin Carter is a perfect player.
Let me throw some names out there to you.
Connect. I know you kind of just said it. Connect is a good one. I think Connect would be really good. All right.
Don't Connect 1.
Yeah, I'll take that.
You tell me if you catch it.
I caught it.
Jared McCain.
No.
Nikola Topic.
No, just because I think you should get away from projects now.
Khalil Ware.
Khalil Ware would be interesting, despite him being a project.
Yeah, see? There are some projects Colin's buying into. I think it's got to be Carter or Connect, personally.
Yeah.
Now, how much does like Connect really help them if he can't defend?
Right.
I don't know. I don't know the answer to that. Like, I don't know if he's going to be ready to play immediately, especially like considering the talent they already have on the wings. I don't know if Connect gets on the court, but I don't know if anybody gets on the court for them this year.
I mean, Devin Carter could.
I love Devin Carter, but you already have Case and Wallace, who
true.
is a year more. Or I mean, he's not a year older, but a more year in the NBA.
Yeah.
So that's where I would go. Probably one of those two. I don't know where else. Like Khalil Ware is interesting to me. I have him 13th on my board, so it wouldn't be a reach to me, but it is kind of a project. To your point, Kyle Filipowski has been mocked here a couple times as a skilled guy.
An offensive guy.
Yeah, an offensive guy that can add to their front court. I think those are like the only options, though.
I think you got to get a guy that I'm outside of Khalil Ware, I guess, because I did like that one. I mean, just because you're already so good, I think you might as well try to stack up on assets that can help you as soon as possible. And this draft isn't really full of them, but I think Devin Carter is definitely one of those guys that can do that. So
perfect timing.
With the 12th pick in the 2024 NBA draft, the Oklahoma City Thunder select Nikola Topic.
Okay. Interesting. I mean, I guess they already have a team that they like and that already got the 1 seed. Might as well just have a guy in the background that can develop. I mean, listen, Topic, he's 10th on my board. I'm not super high on Topic, but I definitely think he has a very high level ceiling. And my comp is SGA light, so who better to learn from than SGA?
Yeah.
I mean, he's able to score at the rim. He's below the rim finisher, but he can finish in a variety of ways with either hand. Playmaking, obviously, is his plus side here, 5.5 assists per game. His shooting wasn't great, 30% from 3 on almost 4 attempts per game, but his free throw percentage was 88%, so that should project, hopefully, but his shot doesn't look that incredible.
The shot's kind of shaky. I think it's almost like a draft and stash, but like he's on your roster.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
Yeah, that's what it feels like. Because they don't need anybody. And like honestly, I don't think anybody they took here would have helped them this year. Like again, I love Devin Carter. I don't know if he would have really helped them this year.
I just mean in terms of depth, like someone gets injured.
Yeah,
You
depth
can have
is
a guy
good.
that you can plug in.
But Topic, I think potentially again, this is like a redshirt year. You'll have a redshirt year with him coming off the ACL, watching a year of SGA, watching a year of how the Thunder do things, and I think that's one of the better situations you can step into if you're Topic because you're gonna have an immense amount of talent around you. You're gonna have an immense amount of creation around you, and I know he needs the ball in his hands, but ultimately, once he gets to those points where he's leading second units or something like that, he can play out ball screens and he's spraying to Cason Wallace or he's spraying to Jalen Williams and so on and so forth.
Yeah.
And I just think that's really good. We know how great of a passer he is. We also know how good of a finisher he was, 67% at the end, got to the free throw line a lot at Mega. So ultimately, I was scared of taking. I was always like he's 15th on my board, so I'm not gonna act like I'm high on him. But my fear, similar to like Klingon, was taking him in the top 5
Yeah.
and giving him the keys and being like, "Here, drive the car." Like that's not what I want.
Yeah.
So I think this is actually a really good situation for Topic.
And obviously, you have the concern of his knee. Injured his knee halfway through last season, re-aggravated again, and it was an ACL. So he's, like I said, we said earlier tonight that he probably won't play this year, redshirt year, as you said. But yeah, I mean, if you take him here, like you said, draft and stash, I like it. And he does do things elite, and a lot of players in this draft class don't do things elite in terms of his playmaking. One thing we didn't really touch on is I actually like his creation a little bit. Although he doesn't like pull up or anything, I think he's able to move defenders with his handle. So that's another thing.
Defensively, he is. I think defensively he's pretty shaky.
Oh yeah, on ball for sure.
Like he has some instincts off the ball, but then on ball, I saw him get driven on way too many times.
7-foot wingspan though. 7-foot wingspan.
It's not 7 foot. It's not 7 foot. That rumor got dispelled. You didn't see that?
Oh no, I didn't see that actually.
No, imagine it like 6'7" wingspan.
Oh no. So he has a like a plus one.
Yeah, like +1 wingspan, something like that.
Oh no.
So yeah, Topic. I think the shooting is obviously like a swing skill, and I think he shot 85% from the free throw line. So there's reason to believe he could be able to shoot.
Mm-hmm.
I'm a little surprised Thunder go this route after like Usman Dang and Alexei Pokusevsky and guys like that kind of bit them. Like
yeah, but I feel like to Topic's credit, I think his floor is already higher coming to the league. Like Dang, I feel like was like we were like okay, and then Pokusevsky, obviously you watched him and you're like you can really love what he seems to do, but ultimately it would have taken a lot of things to hit. Whereas I think Topic, at the very least, can be a bench guard, a rotation guard.
Mm-hmm.
No matter what, I think that's his floor. So I think he'll stay on a NBA team for his career. So
yeah. All right. Who's next?
Kings.
Sacramento Kings. Devin Carter.
I like Tristan Da Silva here. I think that's who I picked for them in the mock.
What's available here? I like Devin Carter here. They already re-signed Malik Monk, so maybe they don't need a guard. Khalil Ware would be interesting, I guess. I did think Da Silva's a solid pick. Da Silva. I have Tyler Smith relatively high. Jalen Tyson I love, but he's not going this high.
Tyler Smith's crazy.
Wait, Dalton Connect is still on the board. Man, Connect. No.
But Connect again. You just like where? I mean, like where does he play?
Yeah, you just re-signed Malik Monk, so it's like, yeah, it gets dicey.
Yeah,
Connect's
problem is his defense. I mean, 100%.
But it's like you already have Davion Mitchell, and you already have like De'Aaron Fox, and you already have Malik Monk if you're the Kings, and I know I'm missing somebody else. Herder. Let's see, they're walking up now.
With the 13th pick in the 2024 NBA draft, the Sacramento Kings select Devin Carter from Providence.
Devin Carter.
Let's talk about it, man. Number 4.
I'll let you cook.
Number 4 on my board for a reason. Devin Carter is an absolute basketball player. I know it sounds stupid to say. Devin Carter makes play after play after play on a basketball court. When you're watching a game with Devin Carter in it, it becomes a Devin Carter basketball game. I understand he's going up a level to the Kings. I understand he spent multiple years at Providence, and it took him a little bit to get going, and especially the three-point shooting. But he's here. He's here. The development has gone through the roof. The shooting is through the roof now. He took 7 a game last year, and is real comfortable with the ball in his hands. Can also play off the ball. Good cutter. Incredible athlete. That I think that not only tested well in the combine, but like you see it on a basketball court with the way he moves physically, with the vertical jump, with blocking shots, with the wingspan. I'm frothing at the mouth right now because of how good Devin Carter is at the game of basketball. And I think Drew Holiday is not only a comp, but I think it's a realistic outcome for Devin Carter. I think he's that good of a player. Alex Caruso, Jalen Suggs, like these players that are awesome on ball defenders and then also add the 3-point shot.
Yeah.
Like we've seen it work time after time after time. And Devin Carter is the latest in a long line of guys that are going to be really, really good basketball players for a long time. Does he have a high ceiling? No. But this you're picking right here for the Kings. You're getting a damn good basketball player. And like you already have Davion Mitchell. He is better than Davion Mitchell was coming out of college. I'm sorry. He just was.
I mean, Devin Carter's 6'3" or 6'3" height and wingspan is 6'8". Like incredibly long defender. Obviously, 9 rebounds a game. Like not even to mention that. Like he's gonna get you the basketball. And like you said, he's not a shooter, but he can shoot really well. He's not like a passer, but he can pass really well. And I think he fills a variety of roles that you don't really see. And with the NBA kind of moving to this utility player type archetype that you really like to have on your team, like he could play 1 through 3. He can guard 1 through. He can probably guard 1 through 4. Like there were some highlights this year when he's playing against centers, like having to get swapped onto a center, and he's just defending against them really well. So I love Devin Carter, not as much as you, but I love Devin Carter. He was 8th on my board, which is
Big East Player of the Year, 20 points, 9 boards, 3.5 assists, 2 steals, 1 block, 42-inch vert. I think 62% at the rim in the half court. Like there's nothing he can't do. 61% true shooting on catch and shoot jumpers. Like he was just as good on contested ones as open ones. So I have very, very few questions. The only 2 things I've written down is like, can he be an on-ball option consistently? And if you have De'Aaron Fox on the court, then I'm not too worried. And Sabonis, for that matter. Like you have 2 guys that can create. And then obviously the spike he had in his junior year as a shooter, you have people wondering if that's going to sustain moving forward.
Yeah, those are both the same minus I have as well. So good pick though. Love this pick.
All right. What is this? Oh, we already saw this.
Yeah, we already saw that earlier.
Good.
All right. Moving on to the Wizards.
Speak of the devil. Here we are. Took Alex Starr first.
So what do they need? A guard?
They need everything, Colin.
I know, but like if we're talking
about
Kopech
at this spot, honestly.
You could do like a Jared McCain. Personally, I wouldn't be mad at like a
McCain Connect.
Oh, I don't know about Imagine Connect on this team. That would just be
shooting the ball.
That would be
Jordan pulling the court at the same time.
That'd just be a brutal watch. That'd be a brutal watch.
Just pulling. Yeah, man, it gets dire.
If you're gonna go project, I think. I mean, honestly, you get rid of Denny Avdia. Do you take a Tristan Da Silva? It's kind of it is getting dire. Looking through dire. You could do if you really wanted to reach hard for a guard that like you want ready now. You could go like Tyler Kolek. You could do a Bub Carrington. You wanted upside. You could do
Bub's my pick. Thank
Bub's
you.
your pick.
Bub's my pick. If I'm the Wizards, I'm taking Bub Carrington right here. And I'm just being happy with it. I think you need a guard that can create for himself and create for others, that's young, that has room to grow alongside Alex Sarr. I'm taking Bub Carrington. He's number 16 on my board. Let's see who they take.
14th pick in the 2024 NBA Draft, the Portland Trailblazers select Bub Carrington.
There we go.
I'm a genius.
I mean, I mentioned him first, but that's okay.
I'm a genius.
Yeah, I
I'm
mean,
a genius.
you get a guy that's one of the youngest players in the draft, not even 19, 6'5", 6'8" wingspan, had the ball in his hands a lot, and I think honestly has one of the highest upsides in the draft. I think his ceiling could be like Nets Spencer Dinwiddie. I think they have very similar play styles. Can be a scoring guard.
I think he'd be better than that.
Nets Spencer Dinwiddie, he was cold.
He was cold.
Like, I mean,
this is the guy who grew, like, he's a late grower.
yeah.
Had really a lot of responsibilities at Pitt last year. 33 minutes per game, 14 points, 4 assists, 5 boards, 2 turnovers, 41% from the field, 32% from 3. 23% usage rate, 24% assist rate. I love the way he sees the court as a young guy. He never looks like rushed. He obviously has an incredible pull-up jumper, the best pull-up jumper, at least in this year's draft, just not in the past couple of drafts. Like the one dribble pull-ups, like I'm assuming those,
especially the pick and roll.
Yeah, off the bounce, you just love to see the way he elevates and scores. So 38% of his possessions were out of the pick and roll. He's incredibly comfortable there. And then also, I think he has pretty good defensive upside. Like he's positional. And as long as he's not like guarding the best player on the other team, I think can grow into that role. Some of this is projection with Bub.
Yeah.
But I think there's enough tools here to where I'm good on him being a lottery pick.
Yeah, no, I'm perfectly fine with it. My weaknesses is his frame, obviously, like you said, late grower. I think definitely needs to bulk up a bit, especially for that defensive end. And then rim pressure. I think rim pressure is definitely a problem. Like Spencer Dinwiddie, you don't really get to the rim that much. 20.24 free throw attempt rate. Under the rim score despite his length, and not really a huge first step. But I think what he's able to do with the ball outside of that is really, really good, especially him for only being 18 years old. And I like this pick for the Wizards. Again, another project type guy. He'll be able to grow alongside Alex Sarr. So I love this pick.
And learn from Jordan Poole.
Yep. Learn from Jordan Poole for sure. Yep.
The rim pressure is the biggest concern. Like I think he only took 57 shots at the rim all year, and only 2 of them were dunks. Like he is not getting to the rim at all.
Yeah.
So I think he needs time, but I'm there. I like this pick a lot for the Wizards, and like the potential for him pairing with Alex Sarr is actually really, really exciting. I might name the Wizards the winner of this damn draft at this point. I like those picks.
All right. Okay, let's go to who's next?
Miami
Heat.
Miami.
Man.
Who?
You got Jimmy Butler.
Dalton Connect. There's your pick.
Bam.
Done. Put it down. Send it in. Commissioner here.
Dalton Connect would have to be your pick, wouldn't it? Man, that'd be brutal on the wings to have I just forget his name. Duncan Robinson. Yeah, Duncan Robinson and Dalton Connect. 2 minus defenders.
Well, they don't play. I mean, Tyler Hero out there.
Dalton Connect would be a great regular season player.
You could put
but in the playoffs, he's just getting absolutely feasted on.
Well, their problem is, if you think about it, the Heat's problem is they haven't been winning enough regular season games to even get to a favorable seed in the playoffs, to where they made the finals as an 8 seed 2 years
ago.
And
then they become gods.
Maybe they need to draft a regular season player at some point. Maybe we're overvaluing.
That's a good point.
Some other names I want to throw out there to you: Kyle Filipowski.
No, I think Jaime Hawkins fills that role too well.
Okay. Isaiah Collier.
No,
pressure.
I don't like Isaiah Collier. Okay. I'd rather take Tyler Cole. Jared McCain. I think he has 3-point shooting.
Elite shooter.
Yeah, elite shooter. I think. I'd be on Jared McCain.
Where did we go in our mock draft?
I want to say. I don't remember now because now it's kind of gotten mixed up. We were doing really well. I don't have the mock draft link, so it's up. You got all that. So
we're an hour and a half in.
Yeah,
An hour and a half in. I feel like we're doing like one of those
Where did
marathons.
we pick Jalen Tyson here?
I thought about that. Like Jalen Tyson makes like a tremendous amount of sense here, but also I think we need to evaluate this team. Heat fans will say their title window's open still, which you can think that. But
Well, I think the Heat think that too.
at some point, if you're not drafting Connect, which is a win now pick, De'Ron Holmes.
De'Ron Holmes would be interesting. I think
See,
you could
like-
pair him next to Bam, and it would cover up some of his defensive.
I think that'd be decent. Like you're picking here, I would almost rather take Jared McCain because I think he's going to be a better basketball player. Like I think he has a higher ceiling than anybody else here.
Khalil
on
Ware. I think it's too
Sure.
much of a project for them, but if you want to go into, I think upside Khalil Ware is a higher upside than.
Well, look,
Jared
I
McCain.
think you're right. I think I took Jalen Tyson, or you took Jalen Tyson maybe at this spot in 15. I don't know, but or Tristan Da Silva maybe. Like honestly,
Tristan Da Silva might be
Here,
a good pick here.
Here's an easier list. Is there a player that they could pick here that you would hate to pick? Because I'm not sure there is.
I mean, if they did if they I don't like Isaiah Collier here. I would hate
Okay,
that.
Collier would be the one you don't like.
Yeah, but outside of that, not really.
Like Jacoby Walter. What about him?
Jacoby
not-
Walter.
we're both not high on Jacoby
I'd probably hate Jacoby Walter actually.
Yeah, I have him 25th on my board. So Jacoby
Yeah.
Walter is not.
I had him fairly high, and I would still hate that pick.
So Collier, Walter. I think those are the only like realistic ones we would maybe hate. Tyler Smith. I'd be cool with personally, but not you. Ryan Dunn.
Man, you just eliminate more shooting from that roster. That'd be crazy.
All defense. All defense.
That's interesting, though. I mean, I think it was either Jalen Tyson or Tristan Da Silva. I don't remember where I picked Tristan Da Silva. I think that might have been the Kings, but I think Tristan Da Silva does a lot of things. He can shoot really well. I think he's a pretty good defender. I think he can be a good connecting passer.
Yeah.
Jalen Tyson, I think, also is able to do. Are they easy walking up?
I hope so. We ran out of things to talk about, so
Yeah, I have no idea. It's hard when you don't know who they're going to pick anymore. Wow.
let's see.
Let's see if there's a trade. Maybe that's why it's taking so long. Oh, I know who they're picking now. It's not a trade. Do you want to know?
I know. I know. Whenever you look at Twitter, it's just the first thing that pops up. So I don't even check it anymore.
Do you want to know?
Is it one of the two that we said that we would hate?
No.
Okay. All right. Well, then that's good. That's good. He should be walking out here any minute.
It's taking a long time.
Any minute here. We went the whole commercial break and came back. I don't know why we're giving Pat Riley all of this time off of this.
No one's doing anything. Adam, please.
Adam, save us. Save us, Adam. We did it. We're here.
Thank God. I had no idea what to talk about. I was like,
We've been talking for an hour and a half straight. We're good.
Pick in the 2024 NBA draft, the Miami Heat select Khalil Ware.
I love this pick. After thinking about it,
Yeah, I was gonna say you threw it out there, and I was like,
when we kind of talked through it, like I think in terms of culture, I think it's the perfect place for Khalil Ware to go because obviously those are kind of the questions of whether he was fully bought in every single possession. But in terms of upside, I think he has the ability to be like a LaMarcus Aldridge type player in terms of what he's able to do offensively. Obviously, he's a really good athlete, able to play above the rim, run the floor. I like how he hops into jumpers. I think his 3-point shooting, well, even though he only took like just over 1 attempt per game, he shot 42%, but I really like his confidence through that.
mm-hmm.
And then even though he turns the ball over a lot, I actually buy his playmaking upside. Like I really think that he's able to, like he's not timid when he makes passes. He tries to do what he sees and is very confident in what he's doing. And I think with a little bit of direction, I think that'll be a very good player.
32 minutes per game at Indiana last year as a sophomore, 16 points, 10 boards, 2 blocks, 58% from the field. 31% of his possessions were post-ups, 7'5" wingspan, 9'5" standing reach, awesome rim runner, 36-inch vertical, the number 1 defensive rebounding percentage in the Big Ten. That includes obviously Zach Edey. And yeah, I think a lot of people were worried about his floor, and I can understand it. But the dude is 7 foot 7'1" with 9'5" standing reach.
Yeah.
If we're believing in Klingon and Edie to the way we are, and Sar for that matter, because they are over 7 feet tall, I believe in Ware for a similar reason. I think Khalil Ware has that type of has the upside skill wise to go toe to toe with any of them. Like he honestly, offensively, is better than Donovan Klingon. He is a very different skill set from Edie and Sar, but I think he has the upside to be better than them, like offensively if he hits. So I think, like you said, this is the perfect scenario for him to go to the Heat, establish, be a backup center, maybe play alongside Bam in some lineups. I'm not sure, but like work on the 3-point shooting, because if he can shoot the ball, he is going to be incredibly, incredibly valuable because he is a really good rebounder and a good defender.
And I think a guy that I think we compared him to during our video that we did over him is Jaden McDaniels, like the guy who has all the tools, didn't necessarily show the buy-in on every possession on defense. Yeah. But he obviously has the tools. And I think being on the Heat is going to unlock that if he buys in. Couple negatives is, again, the effort kind of checked out. Yeah. Playmaking, he can get a little sloppy, obviously, like I said. And then just overall physicality, I think he can, like, he gets his points from a lot of cleanup dunks, and screening's not incredible. But again, those are things that you can teach. And lastly, free throw shooting. Shot 63% this year. Last year, he shot 71%. So there was a regression there. So I guess if you don't buy the shooting, that's a problem. I do buy the shooting. So I don't really think that that's a bad thing right now. Yeah. So, I mean, those are the only negatives I have.
I will say defensively, he obviously, this goes to like the motor and like effort thing. He wasn't as active as you'd want him to be. Like,
yeah, absolutely.
This is still a project. It's still a work in progress for him in terms of figuring out how to be an effective player every second he's on the court, because that's what you have to be at the NBA levels. Every second you have to be doing something, and he doesn't do stuff a lot of the time when he's on the court. So, yeah. Like, he's a good rim protector. He's not a great rim protector. He reacts kind of slow sometimes onto plays. He's not a good screener right now for his size on offense, because he's kind of thin and doesn't really know how to like use his body sometimes. So yeah, there are questions, certainly. But where do you have him on your board? Because I have
11th. I had him 11th.
I have him 13th on my board.
Yeah, we're really high on him. So I like this pick a lot.
We love Khalil Ware and the upside, and I love this pick for the Heat in terms of like a potential, a potential swing. I think for them.
All right, next team to
76ers.
76ers.
Dalton Connect.
Man, I don't remember who we picked for them at this time either. How are we not remembering this?
Well, Connect was not on the board, I don't think.
No, Connect definitely wasn't on the board. You took him early, I think, on our mock draft.
Look, I think they're going after Paul George, right? Like, we know that. Now, Paul George maybe won't end up there. Maybe goes. I think the Warriors were pursuing and whatnot. No matter what, I'm not sure 100%.
I remember who we took.
Who was it?
It was Jacoby Walter, and then we did Terrence Shannon next, I think.
Oh, that's nasty.
Oh, no, that was from the Knicks, actually.
I'm not sure that there's anybody here that they can use in terms of if they're trying to make a conference finals, because they still have not made a conference finals. I'm not sure if there's anybody here. De Silva is a good pick, I think. They don't need Filipowski. I love Jalen Tyson. They're probably not going to pick Jalen Tyson. McCain can shoot the heck out the ball, but honestly, I'd probably rather pick Connect than McCain if I'm picking right now. So, that's what
I think De Silva would be the guy that I'd pick here for them. Definitely, I think De Silva.
DaRon Holmes.
DaRon Holmes would be interesting, but I'm not sure. Like, I don't see a scenario where he eventually gets on the court for them. Also, I guess
they're talking about Dalton Connect right now.
Why? Because he's falling.
Yeah, Gavoni is saying it's not an injury. It's just because he's old.
It's because he can't defend. Let's just get that out. Let's just get that out of the way.
Yeah. He can move his feet a little bit. he'd be taken.
Did you save the mock draft we did on
Fanspo?
Yeah.
I don't think so. Didn't you do it?
No, you did it.
Oh, I did. No, I didn't save it.
Wow.
Check my account. I mean, maybe it's on there.
I don't know your account name. I got it. Let me see. Mock draft. Oh, 23. Dang, you didn't save it. Brutal. I just wanted to see who we picked here. Because I don't remember. But that's okay.
Yeah, I'm not sure. Let's see if the pick's in.
Oh, man, I really don't. I mean, I think De Silva for me is who I'd pick here.
I'm trying to think of potential like other picks here. No, I'm just taking Connect. I'm not taking Walter. I think Walter would be the only pick that I would kind of shake my head at here.
I mean, what if they took? What'd you say?
Collier. Like not Collier either.
Yeah, I don't think Collier fits what they want. Yeah, I mean,
yeah. Well, when we cut this up, we could honestly just start at the pick for these later ones.
We're probably gonna do that. Just
we're running
out of steam, not knowing who these picks are gonna be.
Well, it's not even just not knowing who the picks are gonna be. It's now that we get to these later picks, we've spent so much time on the lottery, in terms of the teams. So now it's like, all right, the Sixers, like where could they go? We haven't even looked this far in the lottery. He's announcing a trade, an older trade, I think.
As part of a deal to be finalized later, the Portland Trailblazers are trading to the Washington Wizards.
Oh yeah, I didn't have to. Gavoni has McCain as.
Why is he announcing this right now? This happened way earlier.
But he has McCain going here, so we'll see.
With the 16th pick in the 2024 NBA draft, the Philadelphia 76ers select Jared McCain.
Interesting.
Reading through Gravoni's mock draft, the Sixers conducted only a handful of workouts, and McCain was one of them. So there you go. They like McCain.
Jared McCain. I mean, like I said, it's hard to kind of figure out a fit with them.
Where do you have him on your board?
16.
I have him 14.
I have him 16.
All right.
So not like egregious or anything. I just in terms of fit, which I guess at this point you're kind of probably trying to get best available.
Yeah.
What he does really well. I mean, shooting. He's a knockdown shooter. 41% from 3 on nearly 6 attempts. Shot's very smooth. He might have the prettiest shot next to Reed Shepherd in this draft class. I think for sure. Yeah, but I'm not because Connect's not playing basketball right now, so wait till he gets drafted.
Wait till he gets drafted. Okay.
Yeah, yeah. I actually think he is a pretty good defender for his size. And playmaking, he's just a really, really solid playmaker. Obviously, is he going to play point guard or is he going to play shooting guard? That is a question. He does have a 6'3" wingspan, along with only being 6'2" ish. Average 14 points a game, 5 rebounds, 2 assists, and a steal. That's
the problem. The question that I have, and you kind of hit everything on the head. Like the shooting is awesome. The range, the base, the catch and shoot, quickness, 63% true shooting on catch and shoot jumpers, 61% at the rim in the half court, and he doesn't dunk the ball, so that's pretty crafty. I do think there's some on ball potential where he is has playmaking in terms of help finding his teammates in some tough spots. But ultimately, the reason why he's, I think 14th on my board, 16th on your board, he's not like a top 10 guy, is because 6'2" and an off guard in the NBA is kind of tough to sell consistently. It just is. So he's gonna have to get better off the dribble. And he's going to have to get better in terms of playmaking for others. So if he does that, I think he rounds out his game, and he's an incredible shooter. So that helps him. But ultimately, I'm not sure where the ceiling is and how much better he can get as a playmaker, because at Duke, he was very off ball.
Yeah. I have a couple comps. Derek White's one of the comps I have. And Jalen Brunson.
Throw Derek White out there now, like hot sauce. We just put him on everything.
I think that's only the second time we mentioned him, but
Devin?
two very
No,
different players, obviously, in terms of comp. But it really, like you said, is he going to be a 2 guard or is he going to be a 1 guard? The biggest concern for me outside of just his size and role, I guess, is yes, he did shoot well at the rim, but he took more threes per game than he did twos. And at the NBA level, that's going to be probably more exacerbated just because he is smaller and isn't an incredible finisher. Just because
Here,
of his
I got
size.
a comp. I got a comp that I like, that I think you'll like.
Okay.
Eric Gordon.
Mm.
Just shoot the ball 10
I can't
times
believe
a game.
I can't believe he's still in the
10
league.
threes a game.
But that's why he's in the league, is because he's a good shooter.
Just shoot 10
I
threes
like
a
that.
game.
I like that comp. That's the comp.
Now,
We're locking it in.
there you go. There's the comp. Of the 50 players, of the top 50 in 3-point attempts per 100 possessions, the only players that are under 6'3" or 6'3" and under who aren't point guards, Emmanuel Quickly, who's a combo, Terry Rozier, who's like a combo, and then Eric Gordon. Those are the only 3. So again, how do you find like those? You're gonna have to be like a really, 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 really good scorer to do this, and we'll see. We'll see if he can do that. But I like him. I like him as a prospect. I have him 14th on my board for a reason. So good pick from the Sixers. We'll see how much he can help this year. I don't know, but you have Buddy Hield, so learn from him. Do what Buddy did.
All right. Do what Buddy did. Moving on to the Lakers. Bronny James is obviously going to get picked here.
On the board. Bronny James time.
Just kidding.
Jalen Tyson, Dalton Connect.
I think
Deron Holmes, Kyle Filipowski, Justin De Silva. I just named a bunch of old players here, Colin.
I guess you go Dalton Connect for the shooting, I guess.
I don't know.
Man, defensively, that'd be tough.
Well, look, the Lakers front office has their pick in. Look at them. They're leaving already. They're dapping up. They're done.
There you go. Bronny James.
Bronny James, baby. I think I saw LeBron in the war room with them, actually.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, here, let me throw out some other names. Just because, they do like helping Anthony Davis out in the front court. What about Yves Messi?
No, I hate that.
Okay. Just
the terrible pick. Terrible pick.
Thought I'd throw it out there.
Awful pick. Who's their backup? I mean, I guess LeBron's their point guard, so it doesn't really matter.
Yeah.
Like I wouldn't be mad.
Here we go. We're up.
Thank God.
We have another trade to
damn it. Damn it, Adam. Don't do this to me.
The San Antonio Spurs are trading to the Minnesota Timberwolves the draft rights to Rob Dillingham, the 8th pick.
Rob Dillingham has to go so bad.
Right. In the 2024 NBA draft, the Los Angeles Lakers select Dalton Connect.
Dalton Connect to the Lakers.
Dalton Connect, baby.
Man.
Look at that. Who'd have thought? Of all the players that were going to fall tonight, it was going to be...
I had him low. I had him 18, so this is right where he should have been taken. Obviously, he shoots. He's one of the best shooters, probably the best clutch shooter in this draft. 6.5 threes per game, shot 40% on there. Shot 46% from the field on 16 attempts, 21 points per game. Like, he can score the basketball. Ball is obviously his very his strength. Can do a couple crosses to kind of get to the rim and finish with his vertical athleticism. 39-inch vertical, 56 dunks in 2 years. But why
Hold
he
on,
fell?
Let me get my expand on the strengths a little bit before we go.
Okay.
SEC Player of the Year.
Talk about before I tear him down.
Increased his average in conference play, like shot better, better, just awesome in conference play in the SEC. And then carried that over into the tournament where he was equally awesome, like Purdue games, and like he was putting up 30 plus, 35 plus in these games. And so like the scoring is why I have him so high on my board. Like he is 9th on my board and I will not back down from that. It's not like a strong 9, like in most years he wouldn't be 9, but
Strong 9.
but Dalton Connect's shooting, scoring, like overall ability on offense, cutting. I think he's a good cutter, and he can kind of get up. 39-inch vertical. He can 6'9" wingspan. I mean, I think the scoring is pretty real with this guy, and so to get him at 17, if you're the Lakers,
Yeah, I mean, I think
good pick.
yeah, off ball scoring, 3-point shooting, like he's going to be able to cut. Like those are, I mean, offensively, yeah, great, incredible. Defensively is just going to be tough. I mean, he's not good at closing gaps. He doesn't really use his body correctly. He finds a way to like stay in plays, I think, because of his like vertical athleticism, but like he's just not quick laterally. And then what is he going to play on the defensive end at 6'6"? Small forward, I guess. He can't really be a wing. Yeah, I definitely don't think he can guard. I mean, but can he guard wings?
Yeah, I'm no look. There are some bad defenders in the NBA already. All right, so he's going to have to be covered up. I think you can make it work. You can make it work if you have good team around him. If you have Anthony Davis on the back line,
yeah,
right?
I mean that helps. That definitely helps.
If you have quality players on the back, like if you have a defensive 5, I think it helps. Like, which is why I was fine with the Spurs taking him. Which is why I was fine with some of these other teams taking him. My problem was him, similar to a lot of people, was the thought of him being a top 6 pick in this draft. That's what I never saw. And so to get him at 17, I mean, you have him what? Would you say 24?
I am 18. No, I'm 18.
Oh, I mean,
this is where I take him. This is where I take him. Yeah.
Yeah, this is about where we're at. So, I don't even have age concerns at this point in the draft.
Well, I mean, when you get a player that's this good offensively,
once we're outside of the top 15, I don't care about your age.
Well, he's gonna be an NBA scorer. It's the thing is defense, which I obviously don't buy.
A lot of my negatives or question marks are all right, age concerns potentially. No, the playmaking, I don't think is there.
Yeah, I agree.
You take him at 17 on the Lakers. I mean, just go stand in the corner, shoot the ball, and score 12 points a game. Because hell, I've watched a lot of players go through the Lakers and just been tasked with scoring the ball, and they haven't been able to do it.
Fair.
And so, yeah, I think he could be like Lonnie Walker or something like that for them a couple years ago? Sure. I don't know.
Quickly before we move on, my comps are Terrence Ross and Tim Hardaway.
Mine are Aaron Nesmith and Bogdan Bogdanovic.
Not the really good scorer, the other one. The worst one.
Bogdan's pretty good.
But he's the worst one though.
Well, Bogdan is older, so
fair. But good pick. Just some question marks.
With the 18th pick in the 2024 NBA draft, the Orlando Magic select Tristan da Silva.
Hey.
Love this pick.
There he goes.
Tristan da Silva is my oh my gosh. It's my Jaime Hawkins of this draft. I was like, why'd they just single that guy out? Like, who is this guy?
We did talk about Da Silva. Talk about
Da Silva. That was funny. Oh my gosh, that's crazy. He's my Jaime Hawkins of this draft. It's brutal. Sorry, Magic fans. I think he's one of the most well-rounded players in this draft. 40% from 3, 50% from the field. I think he can attack closeouts. Can hit pull-ups off the dribble. I don't really think that'll be his role though. Really good connecting passer, solid defender, and he's just really smooth. He's able to get 2 spots. Obviously, he's not the most explosive. I don't think his role is definitely going to be is he going to be a small forward or power forward? He's 6'10" with a 6'10" wingspan, so he doesn't really have the quickness to guard threes, but he also doesn't really have the strength to guard 4s. But I think the Magic with all the players they have will be able to cover up that up pretty well. So very well-rounded player.
I'm sorry, Magic fans. Just caught me off guard. right, Tristan Silva. Yeah, you kind of laid it out well. I think the shooting is kind of underrated to a degree.
Underrated. He's a great shooter.
Okay, no, he's a great shooter, but I think like in common draft spaces, like you hear
Oh,
everything
yeah.
about how smooth he is, and the off dribble ability, like how under control he is. But he doesn't take bad shots, and he has some like ability off the dribble to shoot threes, and
Mhm.
that's
And some
really really
pull-ups, like
yeah,
middies as well.
pull-ups. So yeah, defensively, I think he's kind of switchable. Has some really good like flexibility there. But yeah, Tristan Silva, we like him as a player. Like question marks, I have like what's the upside? But again, outside the lottery, I'm cool taking a guy that's 23 years old because you know what you're getting. And the Magic just made the playoffs, and they want to keep making the playoffs. So why
Yep.
not add a guy that can do that for you? So, what else? Kind of a tweener.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know.
Yeah, that's
3,
right. On the
4.
defensive end, it's going to be tough because he's not super strong, but
Yeah.
he's also not really mobile enough to guard the 3
Yeah,
position.
and they already have like Franz Wagner, so I don't know how well, I mean, he's a backup. He's a backup to Franz immediately. So
Yeah.
that's nice. Has to get stronger defensively. Oh, the rebounding. He's a very, very, very limited rebounder. Like if you watch his games, he just doesn't hunt the ball.
Another
at
reason
all.
why he can't really play the 4, I don't think right now.
So it's kind of weird watching him because he might be like one of the worst rebounders per height or per like foot in this draft.
That's a crazy stat per foot of height.
Per pound, I guess, is a better way of saying it. Like, that's how people usually say it.
Yeah.
But I was gonna say per inch, but that sounds weird. Per pound in this draft, Tristan Silva, yeah, the rebounding needs some work. Comps, I have Marcus Morris and I have Jake LaRavia from a couple years ago. But LaRavia was a little bit more on ballish type, I think, and like a bowling ball type. But
Yeah, I think he's more skilled than LaRavia is. My comps are Kyle Anderson. So
Kyle Anderson.
Man, that was what a ride we just went on. Congratulations, Magic fans. I love Tristan Da Silva. All right, let's move on to.
We need time out. Let's get time out for this next pick. They're on commercial right now. Holy crap, Colin.
I was just so surprised. You announced Tristan Da Silva and you just throw a guy by himself on the screen.
That was the hardest I've laughed in a long time.
Kind of brutal.
Can't wait to flip that, bro. It's such an authentic reaction. Oh my god, that was so good.
I just didn't know why this guy was on the screen.
Clip it, man. Clip it.
It was like Tristan Da Silva gets drafted. They show him standing up, and they just instantly jump cut to a random dude.
Okay.
All right. Next pick.
Yeah, let me take a sip of water. We're good.
Yeah, take it. I got my Dr. Pepper still.
I should go get my Gatorade out of there. I've been drinking Gatorade Zeros lately.
Wow.
No sugar.
No sugar.
Try to cut back on some sugars, Stay in shape. All right, I'm collected. I'm collected now. I'm sorry.
All right, Toronto. I think they got to get a project here. I think you finally tear down what you've been holding on to for so long.
Yeah, obviously. You traded OG Anunoby. Scotty Barnes is your best player now.
You traded Pascal Siakam last year as well.
Siakam. Okay, I mean, what does that mean?
I mean, I think you get a project.
Isaiah Collier? Who I don't think is like a project. I
don't like Isaiah Collier.
Sorry, let me put our big boards back up. Do we have anybody left in the lottery that we need to?
I have
Jacoby
Walter in there and Filipowski.
I have Jalen Tyson.
But we can swap to the other one. Like, I wouldn't be mad at Jacoby Walter. I wouldn't be mad at a Deron Holmes. I wouldn't be mad at.
Let's see. Let me see where fans both. Just in terms of team needs. Actually, I'm sorry. Why don't I go to Gavoni's mock draft here? Johnny Furphy still hasn't been drafted. All right. This is the top end for Keyshawn George.
I don't like Krishan Georges at all, so I'm not even going to entertain that.
Johnny Furphy, also, this is the top end for him. So I'm just saying, this is where the draft could start to get a little weird.
It'd be weird to do Johnny Furphy when you have Grady Dick, I think.
Hey, why not? All of the Kansas shooters.
Yeah.
Ochai Baji, bring them back. Bring them all back. But like, this is where it could start getting a little weird here.
Terrence Shannon.
Eve Massey, Terrence Shannon. Like, we're gonna go down the list. And I don't know where this goes. I don't know where we go from here. I don't know what to do with my hands, as the great Ricky Bobby once said. Isaiah Collier is on the board. I'd probably go Collier personally.
I don't like Collier that much.
All right, well, who would you pick?
I just told you, Jacoby Walter.
I thought you said you'd be cool with him.
I mean, he's 12th on my board, so I think if you're gonna do he's 12th on my board, but I know he's a project, so.
Oh, I didn't mute the screen audio.
2024 NBA draft, the Toronto Raptors select Jacoby Walter.
There we go. There we go.
Cool. On the board for one. Good job.
I like Jacoby Walter. He obviously kind of had an underwhelming season. Only shot 34% from three, despite shooting 6 of them. Is almost 20. So, like, there was a lot of things that he hoped he did a lot better. But I think that 3-point shooting, his mechanics is really good. I like his elevation, his relocation on shots. So he's going to be an off-ball scorer in the NBA. I think the things that he has to work on in terms of upside is like defensive. Like, can he be a defensive guy to where he can truly be a 3-and-D wing? And I think that is possible. And then if he's able to unlock that and be a good defensive player, can he unlock his self-creation? Can he unlock his 2-point scoring? Only shot 37% from the field overall. So right now he's going to make his money from 3. And he's not really a playmaker. So I personally think he can come in and be a 3-and-D shooter pretty close to, a year down the line. And then if he's able to unlock his self-creation, which he's shown flashes of, I think he can be a really good player. And that's why I have him so high on my board, is because I think his ceiling is higher than a lot of the other players who have a lower floor.
Sorry, I just checked our group message. From Raptors fans won't know what we're talking about here. Anyways, from a previous pick. But Jacoby Walter, I think you take this in terms of steps. He shot 34% from 3 this past year, albeit some tough shots, right? Like, difficulty wise, it was tough. But the 3-point shooting is the first thing. He has to be a high level shooter to stick. Then once he gets that, he has the frame to be a good defender. All right, then you become a good defender. Like, that's the next step. And then from there, then you, like you said, the self-creation ability and the ability to get to the rim and finish at a high rate and get fouled. Like, that's the next step. So how long does it take him to reach those steps?
To his credit, he had a really great free throw attempt rate. Nearly got to the line on half of his attempts at the rim. So 5.2 free throws a game, made 4.1 of them, 80% from the line.
Yeah.
So I think that, like, there's a lot of flashes, but again, it has to come together. So some of my comps, like, I think Reggie Bullock is a comp, like a KCP, and I think on the upper end, you could, like, not necessarily as high as Chris Middleton, but something like that, or like a Moses Moody. Fringe all-star is what I have as my ceiling for him.
Yeah, KCP is a good one because, like, in theory, they have a similar frame, and like KCP is still, like, strong, and Walter is pretty strong. So, like, you hope that results in the defensive upside showing where it should be. He was a low usage player at Baylor. They had that ball dominant guard. I'm not sure. Again, I have him low on my board relatively. I think where I have him 25 on my board, which is
we're pretty far apart on him.
Where are you? Oh yeah, you have him at what, 12?
12.
Okay, yeah. So again, I see it. I just didn't it didn't materialize enough for me. And maybe I had too high expectations for him at Baylor this year because I thought he was going to be like set the world on fire. He was just like good.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe that's why. But there are steps. And I do think this is a good spot for him to get a good amount of reps early on in his career to show that he has the ability to improve.
Yep, I completely agree. All right, moving on to Cavaliers.
Cleveland Cavaliers.
I'm surprised there haven't been more trades.
We've had 2. right? Well, one before, one during. Who'd have thought the Spurs would be the ones making the trade?
Yeah, I
Crazy.
thought the Pistons would trade back for sure. So Cavs. Man.
Okay. Like they have to decide what they're doing, right? With
Yeah.
Mitchell, Garland, Jared Allen potentially on the move. Like you have to decide what you're doing with this team before I know what to assign you in terms of a pick. And they just hired Kenny Atkinson. So we know that he likes shooting and likes those type of perimeter players that can help space the floor. I don't think it's too early for Jalen Tyson. I'd be cool with that. I like Tyler Smith as a 4-man who can shoot the heck out the ball. Deron Holmes, 4-man who can shoot the ball. Kyle Filipowski, still available, can shoot the ball. Honestly, guard-wise, we might be like done, except for Collier. And
Yeah.
well, it depends on what you think of Tyson in terms of guard wing, but like I consider him more of like a big guard or wing. But like it's a lot of bigs left on the board here, or at least 4s. So
I mean, you could go. Sorry, I'm looking at my big board
it
over
goes
here.
from like Tyson to Shannon, Collier if you don't want a big. So
I mean, yeah. Man,
unless they want
it is getting kind
Colin.
of tough. See, I just don't like any of the bigs. I mean, I like Deron Holmes, but I liked him. I don't know if I like him in this spot, I guess.
You have him at 21.
Yeah. Yeah. Like, I mean, in terms of the fit, is what I mean. So, because I think he'd have to play more of the 4, and obviously that's a deep spot for them right now. If you went guard, though, I do agree with you. Like Jalen Tyson, probably the most well-rounded player left available, who we're really high on. Where is he on my board? 17 on my board. What's he on your board?
14.
14?
No,
Yeah.
13.
So 13.
14. No, 12. Sorry. Shoot. 12. Love Jalen Tyson.
Yeah.
They're on commercial right now, so we'll continue to wait. I am a little worried about downloading this after the fact. I know we're going to cut it all up, but we'll see how long it takes to download it from.
I mean, I can do that if you want me to, so no worries.
All right. They're back from commercial break.
Shout out to UFC, I guess. Dang, I didn't realize that's true. I guess 3 Euros taking over. France. Specifically, Wemby, Ricochet, Alex Koulibaly, Salon. I don't know how to say his name.
Is Dadier
Dadier, yeah, French.
I feel like I'm missing someone too. Kenny Atkinson just arrived today in Cleveland. And he's an assistant coach for the French national team this summer.
Any French players?
Is Dadier is French, right?
Yeah, just reach for Dadier a little bit. A little bit of a reach.
Here we go.
With the 20th pick in the 2024 NBA draft, the Cleveland Cavaliers select Jalen Tyson from the University
There we
Yes.
go.
Oh, good pick.
You are
great
excited.
Pick. A great pick. Jalen freaking Tyson. We love Jalen Tyson. He is 12th on my board. What did you say he was on yours?
17.
17th on yours, and you're getting him at the 20th pick. Cavaliers fans, be excited. Be excited. He's similar to Devin Carter in the way that like he uses his body and obviously like rebounds the absolute shit out of the ball. 6.8 rebounds per game, 20 points, 46.5% from the field, 36% from 3. Second in the Pac-12 in usage percentage.
Yeah.
And has a ton of experience. 35% of his plays were out of ball screens. So I love him as an on-ball threat. I think he has a pretty high ceiling, honestly, despite being like 3 years in college. The shooting I'm buying. Some people aren't fully buying the shooting because the release isn't like, I guess, pure, but like I'm buying it. And Yeah, I love the rebounding. Physically, he's there. 21 years old, confident as hell. I love it. I
Yeah.
love it. I think this is what they need.
He was obviously in a pretty bad situation at Cal. So I think any of his efficiency problems that people might have regarding him, I think those can just be kind of thrown out the window because that's not going to be the case in the NBA. It is going to be interesting to see how he plays not taking 15 shots a game because I don't necessarily think he's going to be an on-ball type player. I think honestly with his size, I think he could play like 2 through 4, maybe. Obviously, depending on matchups, and then defensive end, I think he can guard 1 through 3.
Well, a lot of the question. Another question was like defensively. He's definitely not a playmaker defensively, but like, can he be adequate defensively at an NBA level? And
I wasn't worried about watching him. I wasn't worried about him being a defense. I mean, obviously he's not going to make a bunch of plays and get a ton of steals or anything like that, but I definitely like he's solid. I think he has really good lateral quickness. Obviously his rebounding is really good. So I think he's a plus defender if anything, and he's versatile at that end.
And I think the reason why he will and could be a good defender at the next level is because the usage percentage is not going to be what it was in college. Like if you minimize his role, I think he's smart enough and he's good enough of a player. And also at Texas Tech the year before, he defended fairly well.
Mm-hmm.
So like, I really don't have huge concerns about him on the defense side of the ball, even though he's not dynamic. He's just not. I don't think he's going to be a huge minus there. The shot selection is going to have to clean up a bit. He's an average finisher, I'd say. Like overall at the rim, that is one of my concerns there. But there's a lot you can work with here, and he's a really, really smart, polished basketball player. 23.6 assist rate. Let me throw that out there as well. So like, awesome player. I like Jalen Tyson. I like the pick for the Cavaliers. Comps. I throw out there DeMar DeRozan. Spurs DeMar DeRozan. Playmaker, can kind of get to his spots. Not the super quick guy, but like rebound, play make, scores. Can operate with the ball in his hands a lot. Not sure about him as an off-ball player. Walk with me here a little bit.
That's interesting. I think I don't like that comp at all. I don't think he's the mid-range type. Like I don't think he has the in-between game as DeMar DeRozan. I think he's more like a.
Okay, go ahead.
Like if we're gonna compare him to anybody, like even just within this draft, like I think he's more of like a Devin Carter type guy. Obviously not as much of a dog or good on the defensive end, but I think in terms of his overall role, like he's a gadget guy that's able to do a lot of things really well, but is probably going to play the 2 or 3 and do those things well. So I don't see him as a guy that can be like an off-ball scorer like that. Yeah. Oh, they already picked. Dang, that's crazy.
The New Orleans Pelicans select Yves Missi.
This was really popular amongst all of the mock drafts. Like all of them, just looking for a center, and he's the best available, and in most people's minds. And I think the physical tools immediately fit what the Pelicans want to do in the front court. They're tired of a big who can't move his feet and is slow.
Yeah.
Is just kind of there. They want a guy that has some pop to him, vertical ability, play like finishing, rim protection, and I think you get that. I think even to see he's a little lower on my board. He's 26 on my board, so get him at 21. I'm not the highest on it, but overall, I see the floor, and I'm cool on it. Like I'm cool with you taking it, and then if he can really evolve defensively, because he's a good defender, he's not a great defender, but if he can evolve to be somewhat switchable, if he can evolve to be an elite rim protector, then you're looking at a guy with a 38.5-inch vertical that's 6'11", that was awesome on the offensive glass, 32nd in the country in offensive rebound percentage. So you have all those tools. I'm good on taking him 21 and just hoping that he pans out.
I think in our mock draft we ended up taking Deron Holmes here. I still would have preferred that. I think, despite like you said, the Pelicans wanting a guy that can be physical and defend. I buy his defense. Like I buy Missy's defense. I buy his athleticism. He's extremely fluid. I I think he's a really good play finisher, but I don't buy the things that he doesn't do just because he is so raw. Like right now, he's relying solely on athleticism. He doesn't really have the skill offensively. Defensively, I think he needs to see the game more. And then when you look at just him with the ball in his hands, it's like he free like 0.33 assist to turnover ratio. Like with him with the ball in his hands is going to be a minus straight out the gate, and I think he's going to need a few years to develop. And with that being said, I don't really know if his ceiling is starter quality, in my opinion.
Yeah. The flashes are what you hold on to, and I remember that Auburn game from this one right here. The Auburn game, like that first game of the season, you're like, oh my gosh, this dude is a lottery pick. This dude's a top 10 pick because he like dominated that game in a way like you don't usually see it from a guy this raw. But as the year goes on and as teams could game plan for him a little bit, and he's played in the Big 12, it's like he didn't quite have the strength that was necessary to really hold up consistently. And he only played 23 minutes per game for that reason. But yeah, shot 61% from the line. Not a dominant defensive rebounder. He was actually better, more active, like offensive rebounding than defensive rebounding because he kind of got boxed out too easily.
Yeah.
Or I'm sorry, not boxed out either, but like couldn't get that like.
It was like positionally he just
like positionally couldn't like just dominate like Khalil Ware or like Zach Edey, those guys. He relies on his athleticism, and so that's not as consistent, I'll say.
Yeah.
I think I mentioned this when we did our Eve Massey video. I don't remember which video it was, but out of 70 players that have similar profiles, I looked this up on Bart Torvik. The only ones that have been drafted in the first round were John Collins and Miles Plumlee. And so it's like, I don't know what to do with that information. I just wanted to
those are not the same players.
I just wanted to present it to you and be like, he is so raw. It's like you don't really see this taking that off.
What's crazy is I wouldn't even compare him to those two players.
Coming out. My biggest reason why I have him 26th is because I think he has to be switchable. He has I say only, but like he has a 9.2 standing reach, which is not 9.5 like Khalil Ware. It's not 9.7 like Klingon and Edey. Like it's 9.2, and I understand the verticals there, but he's not like this overwhelming defensive presence at the rim.
Yeah.
So that's where some of my questions are. I have Nick Claxton, Jordan Bell, maybe if he can switch, and Miles Plumlee as my comps.
I got Clint Capella and Jan Mahimi. So
I like it.
All right. Moving on to the Suns.
The Suns. Gavoni has him taking Collier here. I would like DeRon Holmes, personally.
DeRon Holmes here.
I think I would like DeRon Holmes here. Maybe flip. Look, I think you're down at this point. God, we're getting low. You're between.
I think. I think DeRon Holmes. I think Kolek is a good fit. I think
Kolek was one that we talked about.
I guess. Yeah. I mean, flip. I don't know where he fits in terms of that current. You're gonna grab what?
Crackers.
Dang, no stamina here to finish out the draft. Brutal. Yeah, I think Tyler Kolek I really like. Right now they don't really have a point guard. Obviously you got Devin Booker, so that's not really that much of a problem. I don't know how Flip fits with how they kind of do their power forwards right now. This is an interesting one. I don't remember who he took for them. You drafted for them.
I probably took. I mean, I don't know. I don't know who I took here. Not gonna take Terrence Shannon. I don't think. I don't know. I mean, it's got to be Collier, Holmes, or Flip. Where do you have Collier on your board? Here,
Collier is 23.
Okay, so we're there.
Yeah, but I have Tyler Kolek 22. I'd rather Tyler Kolek. You just scoff at me? That's brutal.
No, it feels like one spot. You made it sound like, yeah, but I have.
Yeah, but I feel like people have Collier higher. So, Phoenix is trading to Denver.
Ooh. Why would they trade up?
Phoenix is now sending, or Nuggets are sending 28 and 56 of this year's draft for this pick. So I know who they're drafting now. So I'll let you go. I'll let you cook.
Who would they trade up for here? Oh,
Deron Holmes to the Denver Nuggets. My man is wearing a purple. Is that purple suit? I can't really tell.
yeah, he was ready. He was ready for the Suns.
Unfortunately, they said we're going to draft you, son, and then trade you to the Nuggets.
Okay.
I actually like this because he can learn behind, obviously, Jokic, and I think that he's the utility, Swiss Army knife type big that does a lot of things that Jokic does, like whether that's playmaking and shooting and things like that. So I actually really like this pick for Denver.
Deron Holmes, junior out of Dayton, 6'9". Like you said, can do a little bit of everything, especially on the offensive side of the ball. Like that's where you're really betting on him being a playmaker. Off the dribble, he's a little stiff, but like you buy it in the big picture. And then the shooting, like that's where he went back to school and he came out a better shooter than he was a year ago. So with that being the case, I like it. I think they needed a little bit more versatility in the front court. I think they need a little bit of versatility in the backcourt too. But like, just in general, like adding depth, adding players that are polished, I think that's huge for the Nuggets in the big picture here. So, yeah, is he gonna have like a huge role year one? No, but ultimately, if they trust him, maybe later in the regular season, or if they trust him next year, I think this is a great pick.
Yeah. Can pick and pop 39% from three. I think he also can unlock something in the mid range game. He actually is a pretty good shot blocker, 2 blocks per game. It's not really, it's mostly on help, which I think that's where he should play. I think he's more of a power forward than he is a center. So, I mean, I really like this pick. Obviously, there's going to be some things that he needs to work on. He's not physically imposing. He's a good screener, but he's not really physical when he's at screen. So there's a couple of things there.
He has some spots to learn.
Yeah.
I just like the activity level with Deron Holmes. Like rebounds, blocks, steals. Those are the hustle areas. I think he's fantastic in those. Like at this point in the draft, we're talking about a guy who can do those 3 things and then, or make an impact in those 3 ways, and then also shoot 38% from the 3. I don't have a problem at all with this. I think you take some pressure off Jokic. Like we're getting to the point where Jokic can do this every night. Like we get it.
Yeah.
But at a certain point, we might need to start taking a little bit of a load off of him at some point. Like we don't need 30-point triple doubles every night. Like he's winning all these MVPs. It's awesome, but we need to build the depth around him. And I think Holmes helps that significantly. Yeah, I'm interested to see him as a screener a bit more. 32% of his plays were post-ups. Obviously, it'll be a different usage, but and then he is kind of like you said. I think he is a 4. He's weirdly like my comps are Al Horford, Bobby Portis, Larry Nance, and I think the Al Horford one is true in like how they move. In terms of like,
I definitely think Al Horford is the one.
But like they're athletic, they're like sneaky athletic, I guess. But yeah, I those are my comps for him.
Yeah, comp I have for him actually is Beef Stew. Shout out Isaiah Stewart. Just because I think he can be versatile on the defensive end, similar to him. Obviously, I think he's more gifted offensively, but I think that in terms of the archetype that he'll fill early, it's going to be a guy that'll shoot from 3 like Isaiah Stewart does, and then can do some defending of multiple positions if he's able to, learn to position himself better. I will say I am interested to see how he'll do as like a playmaking big, kind of at the mid block, because I think that his passing was pretty good.
Yeah.
But that'll have to come with time. So
yeah, shout out to Ron Holmes. Good pick for the Nuggets here, trading up. I'm interested to see what they gave up. No,
I told you a second ago.
Sorry,
28 and 56 this year, and then 2 future second round picks.
It's a
so
lot.
four picks.
3 seconds and a late first for Holmes. I mean, it's a lot. It's a lot.
Yeah.
I don't hate it though. They're obviously trying to win.
Yeah.
So can't be mad.
All right, moving on.
The Bucks.
Yep, Bucks.
Tyler Kolek.
Yeah, Tyler Kolek.
That's what a lot of mocks have said. But now Isaiah Collier is available.
I think our mock said Tyler Kolek as well.
Yeah, Kolek's been kind of the popular pick here.
I feel like you're a Tyler Kolek hater.
No. He's just not aggressive enough offensively for me.
I do remember you saying that in our video about him. Actually,
Kind of annoying watching him play, or not annoying because he's great. I think he's a very good player, but like you want Kolek to be a little bit more than what he is at times. He's like he shoots a great percentage. All right, shoot more. Like I don't know, maybe I'm being greedy, but like that's my.
But I think they definitely have to go guard here. I mean, Collier is an option. You don't really have a lot of other
Well,
guards.
they are trading Brook Lopez though, or in the market of trading Brook Lopez, or is he a free agent? I forget the situation with him. Is
I don't
he a free
remember.
agent or they're trading him? One of the two. So maybe you take Filipowski.
That would be interesting. Filipowski would actually be very interesting because I think he kind of fills that offensive role that not the defensive role, I should say, though, that Brook Lopez does.
Yeah, Brook Lopez.
As of right now, though, in terms of what they need right now, I think guard is definitely the way to go.
Tyler Smith is my best player available. Let the record show.
Tyler Smith is going to get picked 47th. So
and they'll be regretting it. They'll be regretting it every step of the way.
That's funny.
Just wait. Ryan Dunn's available.
That'd be so nasty.
Who did Gavoni have them taking? Filipowski.
Filipowski is interesting.
I like Filipowski. That would be my pick.
Okay.
Because you need to pair a shooting 5 with Giannis. So
yeah, well, I mean that's where Filipowski would have to go with a guy that can kind of cover him defensively.
Yeah.
So I mean that's definitely a good fit for him.
Yeah,
for sure.
And I do think he's more athletic than a lot of people give him credit for. Filipowski.
Or if he falls further, I don't know if the Heat have a second round pick, but Filipowski would be good there too, next to Bam.
All right.
Is the pick in?
Hopefully. Let's see.
Here we go.
With the 23rd pick in the 2024 NBA draft, the Milwaukee Bucks select A.J. Johnson.
That is a reach.
A.J. Johnson. Hey, he showed up, man, in a suit in the bleachers. I respect the hell out of it. That is an incredible pick. Wow.
Oh man. I'm gonna be too harsh, so I'm gonna let you open it up.
Look, I'm gonna be too harsh, Colin.
All right, I'll open it up then.
You're gonna be too harsh.
Let's open it up.
First of all, I have him lower than you.
What was his rating?
74.
73.
Oh my god.
So yeah, I mean AJ Johnson, he's really fast guard, can handle the ball, and that's kind of about it. Unfortunately,
I can find something else. Let's see.
I mean, some playmaking upside.
Yeah, like
shooting
ball
upside.
Handling,
Yeah, I said that. I said handling upside.
Handle
dribbling, I should say.
Good athletic tools, like you said, fast, quick.
Yeah, but
okay, the shooting. Look, the hard part of evaluating him is the fact he played 8 minutes per game last year at the NBL, right? Could not get on the floor basically, and when he did, it was inefficiency. When he did, it was a lack of real playmaking, like reading the court playmaking type. But again, like when you see the flashes of him, like as an athlete and as a player, you're like, oh, I could see this athleticism and like a fast break situation, or him going up and dunking on people. Like that's cool. The problem comes when he wasn't a can't miss prospect out of high school. This isn't Ron Holland. This isn't like a top 10 player. I think he was like
Yeah.
25th or somewhere, 25 to 30 range out of high school. Goes to the NBL and doesn't produce. Doesn't even get on the court. And I understand it's a very hard league to get into. Well, he's going to the NBA next year. And I understand
Yeah.
this is going to be a long-term pick, but physically he's not there on either side of the ball. Slight in can't and he's not an intense defender by
Yeah.
any means. So it's like, where does he go? And then the question on offense is like, can he play off the ball? Because he shot 28% from three, albeit not a ton of attempts, but like, I don't think he's going to be a great shooter within 2 years.
I agree.
So
Well,
3 years. So it's like, I don't know. I don't
For
know what
me-
he does.
For me, it's he's a guard, right? And right now, I don't think he'll ever have the role of point guard, but that's kind of what all of his skills are
Yeah.
at. It's in the handle, it's in the playmaking upside, it's in his speed, and just him being incredibly efficient doesn't show me, like, it's hard to project him, right? He only got to the free throw, only took free throws at a 0.14 rate. I mean, shot 35% overall, 53% from the free throw line. His shot looks kind of good. It gets off quick, but it's not like there's not a lot to project. So when you bring up all the things that he does well, and you bring up the things that are kind of stopping him from getting better, it's hard for me to see, one, physically how he can get much more strength and much more bulk on his frame, and then two, there's so much more than just like, okay, his shooting is a swing factor, or his playmaking is a swing factor, his defense is a swing factor, because almost everything's a swing factor right now. And that's just a surprising pick to me. Very surprising pick to me.
Look, okay. It's a bad pick. It's a bad pick.
Yeah.
I don't care if you don't think Tyler Kolek works out. All right, cool. Take anybody else. Take Isaiah Collier.
Oh, to compare him with Isaiah Collier just really, I mean, his weakness is that he can't shoot, but he has a really good strength, and that's just being a very physical guard that can get downhill.
Isaiah Collier makes a ton more sense here
Yeah.
than AJ. Taking AJ Johnson over Isaiah Collier is malpractice.
Yeah.
It is just befuddling. It makes no sense
Yeah.
in this world
Yeah.
of Isaiah Collier going after AJ Johnson. Because Isaiah Collier is further along. Isaiah Collier was not in a good situation at USC, and AJ Johnson forgoes college to go play in the NBL where he can't get on the court.
Yeah.
Isaiah Collier is getting on the court in the NBA. I don't care. Like, he is at least has a translatable skill, which is getting to the basket, being strong, and honestly, he's not a bad shooter. Like,
Yeah,
he
he
can make a little bit.
Shot
He had a ton on his
33%.
plate.
Yeah.
So it's like, you are not just gambling. To use like a poker reference, you basically have a hand that's like a 3-4 suited, and you're going all in on it.
Yeah.
And I do not understand it.
Yeah.
I don't understand it. This makes no sense.
Yeah.
Awful pick.
It's like
Awful
you're projecting that there's projectable upside, which is weird.
That'd be the worst pick since.
Oh, we got a sense here.
Udoka Azubuike in the first round by the Jazz.
It beats Ochai Agbaji.
That was a bad pick too. We're having some bad picks here. But like, that's
Shout
the
out
vein.
Kansas. No, I completely understand, because like you said, there's nothing that right now that's projectable where you're like, okay, if that gets better, he's on the floor. It's multiple things that have to get better. Whereas if you look at Tyler Kolek, he's a polished player and he'll be able to be on the floor. You look at Isaiah Collier. I'm not a huge fan of Isaiah Collier, but also he can be on the floor because of how physical he is, and he can also still put the ball in the basket. So that's interesting. That's an interesting pick. We'll see. We'll see what happens with that moving forward.
Handle. Collier's better handle, better passer.
Yeah. Moving on to 24.
Hold on, wait.
If there's a trade.
The Wizards have this pick.
Yeah, Wizards have this pick.
Oh, okay. They traded up 2 picks.
Yes, from 28 to 24, or 26 to 24.
26 to 24. So now the Knicks are picking 25, 26 instead of 24, 25.
Yep.
All right, cool. All right. Well, honestly, I think the Wizards just saw the Bucks take AJ Johnson and said, "This is our time. Let's strike right now and take Isaiah Collier.
After they took Bob Carrington?
Get your backcourt of the future set.
Backcourt of the future? That's an incredible backcourt to think about. Bob Carrington and Isaiah Collier.
Okay, are they taking Flip?
I mean, I think you got to go just every, like, if you want to get projects for every
Keyshawn
position.
George?
I don't like Keyshawn George, but
Cam Christie?
I'd like Cam Christie. Here we
go. Combe Dadier is my guess. Frenchman.
With the 24th pick in the 2024 NBA draft, the New York Knicks select Keyshawn George.
There's Keyshawn George to the Wizards. I like it. All right, so they have their guard in Bob Carrington. They have their wing in Keyshawn George, and they have their forward in Alexander Sarr. From a PR perspective, from a fan perspective, you have your core of the future, and you have Bilal Coulibaly. So it's like you traded Denny Avdi out of here. Cool. This is like they're playing Empire State of Mind. Poor guys going to Washington, not New York. But like that's the theory now. All right, let's talk about Keyshawn George a little bit because I like this pick. I have him 29th on my board, which is not too far off of where he actually was picked. Freshman out of Miami, older freshman, spent 1 year international playing in France in the French B League, and the 1 year in France or at Miami did not produce a ton. Just didn't produce a ton. A lot of this is betting on projectable skills. Shooting, shot the hell out the ball. I think he's potentially a top 10 shooter in this draft. 40% from three, shot off the dribble threes, had some catch and shoots, has good range. Like I'm buying the shooting. 78% from the free throw line. So like shooting, boom, sets a baseline. And then you get to the defense where a lot of teams and people are buying the defense side of the ball and his length and like the playmaking potential there. So boom, immediately 3 and D, 6'7", like doesn't need the ball in his hands. I think like let me read my notes read through my notes, but like that's kind of my gist on Keyshawn George.
I think you hit on all the things that he does really well. I don't buy him as a player. He's not in my first round on my big board because I think he's going to be too one-dimensional on the offensive end because I don't think he'll be able to finish at the rim. He only converted 24 shots at the rim in 31 games. Only had 27 free throws. Not very physical. Not a lot of touch. Only made one floater last year. For me, if he's only going to shoot threes, I think that it limits his ceiling significantly, and I don't really see. There wasn't really a lot of flashes for me in terms of that. I mean, you're getting to the line at a .142 rate.
Yeah.
And his shooting's good, but it's not one of the top in the draft. I mean, you said top 10, which is fine, but like I think there's a gap between the top 5 and then you go to the last top 5 in the draft. So
he's definitely not explosive. Like athletically, he's not super impressive.
Right.
Like he's 32-inch vertical, not strong right now. Like you said, doesn't finish very well at all. Defensively needs to get more aware. I will add on to another strength that I didn't talk about initially. He had a lot of like on-ball reps. Now the usage percentage is low, 17.5%.
Yeah.
But when he was on the court or when he was getting the ball, it felt like a lot of it was on-ball reps, ball screens, like kind of pushed the ball in transition and kind of made decisions out of there. So I thought the passing showed flashes of being a real strength. So again, if you can build on those, I think you're looking at a guy that can be a really reliable wing for you. Again, it's projecting, so I understand it. I had him 29th on my board, so I'm not like caping for him the way I caped for like Bob Carrington. But George definitely has like tools to me that get him in my first round.
For sure. Yeah.
Comp or anything like that?
I got Cam Johnson as a comp.
I have Rodney Hood. 6'7" shooter. 6'8" shooter.
What a throwback name.
Julian Champagny. So there you go. 2 tall shooters. Rodney Hood. Shout out Rodney Hood.
Incredible.
But yeah, that's all we got.
All right. So now it's the Knicks. going 25-26. Let me make sure that that's still a thing.
And we'll just run this video straight through now. We just started at the pick and just run it straight through.
Yeah. I think Knicks, though, like we talked about during the mock draft, you just need shooting. Just keep getting more shooting. I mean, obviously, you got Mikal Bridges, so that kind of changes a little bit of what you're going to try to draft. You might not draft a Terrence
It's
Shannon.
interesting now. Yeah.
Maybe you do go more project like a Cam Christie, or you get like a Ryan Dunn just for fun. Just for fun to throw him in there. Ryan Dunn. Terrence Shannon.
Terrence Shannon, right?
I mean, yeah, I think Terrence Shannon's one of them.
Tough, old, can't really shoot. Sounds like a Nick. Sounds like a Nick to me.
Hey, wait, Terrence Shannon, you said can't shoot?
I mean, he can kind of shoot. He's not a great shooter. No.
I mean, he can shoot okay.
He's all right.
Yeah,
he can kind of shoot. Yeah. I said he can kind of shoot.
You said can't shoot.
Okay, I said he can't really shoot. Something like that.
36% is pretty good. I'll take it.
My word.
All
right, here's my guess for these two picks. Ready? Filipowski with one of them.
I like that.
Shannon with the other. There you go. Those are my picks.
Does Ryan Dunn get picked in the first round?
I hope so.
Wouldn't it be crazy if the Pistons traded back into the first round and drafted Ryan Dunn?
Ryan Dunn completed the can't shoot Avengers right there. Ryan Dunn. I'll be so pissed off for you if we draft Ryan Dunn. Oh my God. You don't deserve to be an organization if you draft Ryan Dunn after drafting all these non-shooters.
That'd be incredible.
Jamal Shed. Johnny Furphy.
I think Terrence Shannon's one of them. I think
validated. And the funny thing is, earlier in the draft, I said not to feel this way.
Okay.
But I feel so validated that Johnny Furphy is not a top 20 pick.
Oh, I mean, I have him 29
out there. All you people out there that were trying to push the Johnny Furphy a top 20 pick narrative, shame on you. Shame on you. That man was nowhere near a top 20 pick. And now we're getting to the middle of the 20s, and he can go now. Like, I still don't think it's a good pick, but like, it makes way more sense him going at the late first than it did in the middle of the first. That was so annoying to read that. Because you're saying that I'm an idiot. You're saying that I'm an idiot if you were telling me Johnny Furphy is a top 15 pick. And I'm not going to be an idiot. And here I am being proven right.
Wow. Good rant.
The Knicks are up.
With the 25th pick in the 2024
Filipowski.
NBA draft, the New York Knicks select Hakoum Dadier.
Oh, it's Pacom. It's Pacom.
Hakoum Dadier. In the stands. They didn't even invite him to the green room. I respect those guys a lot because it's a 2-day draft now. So you could be showing up and just not getting drafted.
That's true, actually.
I
like this pick.
If you travel all the way over there, I guess you're going.
I like this pick. I have him 26 on my board. I don't know where you have him on your board.
27. So yeah.
He's a guy that we constantly kept comparing to Saloon because of their age and what everyone was projecting as upside. I think he's more like a really skilled player. Obviously, didn't play a lot of minutes, 15 minutes per game, only 18% usage percentage, but he flashed a lot of shooting upsides, flashed a lot of self-creation. I really like his offensive IQ, and he's 6'8". I don't know his wingspan, I guess. So I think offensively he shows a lot. There is some weaknesses when he can be a little bit sloppy, but in terms of what he brings to the table and projectability, I think that there's a scorer in there for sure.
Yeah, the shooting potential is really exciting. 36% from three, 74% from the line, and I think the shooting form and the consistency is really enticing. So I like Dadier as a shooter and a scorer. He cuts well. He can get up for some dunks. 38.5% on catch and shoot threes. So that's really impressive. And then he was like sneaky one of the best offensive rebounders in this draft. He had 43 offensive rebounds on the year and was like always trying to go get the offensive boards, which was really appealing to me. So I think that might be a common theme with me between Carter, Tyson, and now Dadier. Like if you go get the offensive boards, I am a big fan of yours. So, yeah, Pacome Dadier, really skilled offensive player. I think the question marks are when you get to defense and when you get to just overall like athleticism and upside for him. I'm not sure how high his ceiling is in the future.
Yeah, he definitely has to put on some muscle. He's 6'8" and he's only 187 pounds.
Yeah.
But with him being 6'8", if he is able to fill out with only being 18 years old, he'll be able to guard multiple positions, I think.
He's
like
the antithesis for Salone almost.
Yeah, exactly. And that's what we talked about in our scouting video. It was like Salone has the body and pretty much that's it. Whereas Pacome has all of the skill that you'd like to see in a Salone. One thing I also like is I actually like his self-creation a lot too. I think he's able to stop on a dime, and he kind of has this like a sneaky first step. So I'm really excited to see if he's able to kind of put it together and be a really good scorer in this league.
Yeah, again, didn't have a ton of he played 59 games last year, but it was like in 15 minutes per game, but it wasn't like sustained minutes in terms of him getting the ball on a couple possessions in a row. It felt like very choppy. So we'll see how it goes, but I definitely think this is a good pick in terms of the upside for the Knicks in terms of a scorer that can come in and maybe in a couple years and help you out.
So. Do you think they take another shooting guard?
Oh, yeah, I forget we're just going straight through the video. Pacome Dadier. Who could they take? I'm still betting Filipowski. I'm still betting Filipowski. I just think he's – look, I have Tyler Smith as a better player. I understand a lot of people don't think he's going to be great, so like I won't even entertain it, I guess. And taking Tyler Smith after you take Dadier feels – I don't know. That doesn't feel great. But like taking Filipowski, who's my third best available.
Yeah, he's my best available right now.
Now, Shannon – also, Terrence Shannon, I think, is a real possibility here. But, like, Filipowski to me, let's see who Gavoni had them taking. He had them taking Khalil Ware and Ryan Dunn. So
Ryan Dunn's interesting. I like Flip here, though.
The Knicks are among teams believed to be highest on Dunn long-term because of his defensive versatility, showcased his strengths in the workout circuit, and left room for optimism around his long-term chances of offensive growth.
Well, let's not get ahead of ourselves after watching his shooting at the combine. But
I like it.
Yeah, I mean, Filipowski's 14th on my board. Might be a little high in hindsight here, but I really like him. So I'll take that being New York's pick if it is.
Yeah. Honestly, I wouldn't be mad at any of the picks at this point. They traded for. So here's another reason why I think Dadier makes sense is. You just traded 4 first-round picks to get Mikal Bridges.
The Thunder are now taking this pick.
Oh, all right. Well, let's end this video and hop on. Start talking about the Thunder.
Interesting.
All right, Thunder. Do you know what they traded? It's okay if not. We don't have to.
No, I don't.
All right, the Oklahoma City Thunder on the board here. It's got to be Kyle Filipowski, right? Who did they take it at?
Right, 12? It's Thunder via New York are selecting whoever at 26. Yeah, okay. Thunder via New York. Yes, that would mean that the Thunder are taking a pick here. So they drafted Topic.
It was Topic first. I think it's got to be Filipowski, right? There's no other reason you get back in this.
You got it, yeah.
There's no other reason you get back in this unless to take Filipowski. Here, I'm trying to listen to see who Woj says.
All right, so Oklahoma City will be making the selection, even though it says Washington behind us, and we were talking about the Knicks before that. That's
here we go.
Draft night. Let's get it back to Commissioner Adam Silver.
Announcing a trade.
It's got to be Flip.
In the 2024 NBA draft, the Washington Wizards select Dylan Jones.
Oh my god!
Oh man!
Dylan Jones!
Oh man!
Dylan Jones!
Oh
Dylan
man.
Jones! Before Johnny Furphy! That's what I'm talking about! The Thunder no ball!
I feel bad about I feel bad for Flip.
The Thunder no ball. Dylan Jones is off the board. My 32 ranked player in this class. The consensus had him at 47. Dylan Jones, I'm 15 spots higher on him because if you watch him play, he's a basketball player. Now, sure, there are like ceiling questions. Yes, I understand the shooting questions as well. And he was an incredibly high usage player at Weber State. Like they just gave him the ball, and I don't remember who it was. Somebody called him like the Weber State version of Luka Doncic. That's what he was. But he is 6'5". He's only 22 and a half years old. So let's not make it sound like he's like
That he's 23
24.
in 5 months.
Or 22 and a half years old. 6'11" wingspan. I just the hardest part of scouting Jones is I don't like scouting against bad teams, right?
Yeah.
Watch his game against St. Mary's. Just watch it. The dude put his team on his back and brought them back to beat St. Mary's on the road. I was just blown away. 29 points in that game. And then you put it all together. The high free throw rates. Like I said, the wingspan, the bully ball mentality to get downhill, get to the basket. Had a really, really high usage role the past 2 years and just never really looked tired to me. Always came through when his team needed him.
Yeah.
21 points, 10 rebounds, 5 assists, 2 steals, 3 turnovers, 49% from the field, 32% from 3, 86% from the free throw line. I think I'm higher on Dylan Jones compared to the consensus than anybody else in this draft. Shout out to Dylan Jones. Also, top 5 rebounder in the country the last 3 years on defense rebound percentage.
All right, you good?
I'm great.
Yeah,
I was not expecting to hear his name.
You shot out of the chair. Yeah, I think the main question for him. I mean, I love everything about him just because he was the do everything player for Weber State. Main question is in the NBA is what's his role going to be? I think shooting. He shot 32% from 3, and I think that'll kind of come through because he did shoot 80+% from the free throw line. So if he's able to be able to play off ball because I don't think he'll be playing on ball. I think this is a really good pick just because 6'11" wingspan, 6'5", isn't like a defender like a Devin Carter or anything, but same type of I think role in terms of what he's going to give you on the court. He's going to give you his hustle. He's going to give you rebounding. I think he has really good touch as well. So I mean, it's an interesting pick, but I actually like the pick.
The craziest thing is that the Thunder traded up for him.
Right.
So that means they knew somebody else was going to take him at this point. Like somebody else was going to take him in the first round. Because if not, you just trade up tomorrow, right? Or do something tomorrow.
What's consensus on him?
47.
47 is crazy.
I told you 47. I did not think we were going to see him today. I have him 32 on my board. 32 for Dylan Jones. Just an incredible player. Like you said, the shooting is the biggest question mark. I think he has great feel like in the in-between game.
Yeah.
As well, like pull-up jumper wise. And like I have small things like the handle's not an NBA level, but he shouldn't.
But again, that's not gonna be his role, right?
Yeah, that's not gonna be his role, right?
Yeah.
The defense will be interesting. Like as the role condenses, the defense will have to get better, right? That's just how it goes. So I'm interested to see if he can do that as well. But he has 6'11" wingspan and good body. Like I don't see why not.
OKC sending 5 second-round picks to the Knicks.
Oh, God.
So
5 second
between
round
2025 and 2027, 5 second-round picks.
I mean, one of those has to be a good player at some point, right? My comp is Keldon Johnson.
Interesting comp.
And I love that comp. So if you say anything bad about it, I will.
I won't. I'll agree with you. Keldon Johnson is the comp.
Like a big body, strong. I like it. I like it. Yeah. Shout out Dylan
That's
Jones.
an incredible pick. That's the first reach that we didn't hate.
That's the first reach that I loved.
Yeah.
I thought it was going to be incredible. Wow. Dylan Jones.
No one likes him. That's crazy.
I'm just going to keep taking victory laps, man. Between Johnny Furphy tanking, AJ Johnson reaching.
Wait till they have to pan out too, Bruni. So give them.
No, I don't. No, they don't. I'm right.
Okay.
There you go.
Okay. Let me see who's making sure that who's picking next is picking next.
That was fun.
This is Minnesota's pick. I mean, I guess since they're picking 27 and they didn't trade this pick away, I guess do you still go for on-ball creation? I mean, like in terms of who's in my first round that could do that, I mean, really, it's like Terrence Shannon is the
What was
only
the
guy.
pick they traded?
They traded for 14. No, I don't remember.
No, they traded for 8 with the Spurs.
Duh. Yeah.
Rob Dillingham.
Yep.
Okay, Timberwolves on the board, 27. So they already have Dillingham. What do they need? Ryan Dunn.
I mean, I think you can just go.
Terrence Shannon, right?
Yeah. I mean, I think you just go again with somebody who can score.
NBA draft. The Minnesota Timberwolves select Terrence
Yeah.
Shannon Jr.
Yeah, Terrence
We're
Shannon.
on
I like this
fire
pick a
right
lot.
now.
Illinois.
I like this pick a lot.
I like it a lot too.
Yeah,
Terrence Shannon, awesome player out of Illinois. Now, like I do have, I don't like starting with negatives, but like in general, I do have questions about like the feel and like the playmaking, and he is so old. He's 24 years old that it's like you are literally drafting the player that you need to be able to put in your lineup
Yeah.
tomorrow. But he was really good. That was a really good player. He was one of the best players in the Big Ten this past year. High volume scorer, high usage every year he was in college, so he's very comfortable with the ball in his hands. And the shooting got way better. 36% shooting on 6.5 attempts per game. So like you see the scoring potential. He gets downhill incredibly well, very fast, accelerates in the open court. It's really fun to watch, and you like a guy that can get pressure on the rim like that. So 60% at the rim and half court, elite off the dribble, and I think he has good counters, step backs, mid range. So, and obviously he's strong. Like 24 years old, he's well built. So
Yeah. No, I
Good pick.
think best thing obviously that I liked was his defense. I think on ball and off ball defense is something that's really good. Out on top of his comfortability with the ball. It will be interesting to see what his role will be, because if you're on the Timberwolves, like he's not going to have the ball in his hands a lot, I don't think, especially after you draft Rob
okay.
Dillingham.
Here's the question. It goes back to what we said about Rob Dillingham, though, is that they needed more creators on this.
That's
team.
true. That is true. That is
So,
true.
Like, are you? Just,
I mean, I did say they need to stack up on it, but I mean, if you're, I mean, you pick Rob Dillingham 8 and trade it up for that, obviously.
Yeah.
So you expect him to pan out. But I'm wondering if he'll be maybe more of like a defensive guy first on the Timberwolves than he will be a scorer, even though he can score.
He's gonna have to play defense, obviously. Ultimately, I don't know like how high like the ceiling is per se. Like I don't know if he'll ever be a starter in the NBA. Flat, like
I think is fine.
Yeah, it should be fine. Like if he plays for a really good team like the Timberwolves, then yeah, it is gonna be fine. I just don't know like where the ceiling is. Like if the scoring is to the caliber that it needs to be at to make up for the playmaking shortcomings, and I think he's a fine defender. Like I don't think he's a great defender though.
Yeah,
I think we have a little disparity there. All right.
This pick
Next.
is for Phoenix. Remember,
28th pick in the 2024 NBA draft. The Denver Nuggets select Ryan Dunn from the University of
so Phoenix got Ryan Dunn. Phoenix with Ryan Dunn.
Hey, they said we got enough scores. We're gonna keep the big three around and just go play some defense.
I mean, if you want, sub him on and off every possession. Ryan Dunn is like the best.
And Kevin Durant coming on and off for each other.
Yeah,
Ryan Dunn. No, Bradley Beal. Sorry, just Bradley Beal. They just come on and off for each other the whole time.
Ryan Dunn is the best. Like if he had any ability on offense, he'd be like a top 10 pick lock.
Yep.
Best defender in the draft in like probably the last. Like how many years back could you go before you find a better defender than Ryan Dunn? It'd probably be 10.
Well, besides Wembanyama.
12. Yeah, besides Wembanyama.
Outside of Wembanyama, he's probably the best defender in quite some time.
Yeah, I mean, he can do everything. It's
fantastic.
Lockdown on ball defender, off ball makes it's so incredibly fun to watch him play defense. Like when he's off ball, because he just makes stuff happen. He makes so many plays off ball. Almost 2.5 blocks, almost 1.5 steals, 7 rebounds.
And the percentages are even better. 10% block rate.
Yeah.
Or block percentage, and 3% steal percentage,
as
and
a small forward.
As a small forward, and a 20% defensive rebounding percentage. If you put those 3 numbers in, I did a Bart Torvik query again. You put those numbers in, you get Anthony Davis, Nerlens Noel, and like 2 other names, and then Ryan Dunn in the past 15 years.
Yeah.
Like that's the level of defender we're talking about.
Yeah, and he's incredible. Obviously, you need to. I mean, hey, if you're gonna learn from anybody, you should learn from Kevin Durant, I guess.
How to play offense.
How to play offense. But I mean, just to go over his offensive numbers, he averaged 8 points a game, 20% from 3 on 1 attempt per game, 54% from the field. Most of that was just transition, and slashing. But with the ball in his hands, it doesn't help that he played at Virginia. But unless he's doing a straight line drive, it's gonna be pretty rough at first. Pretty rough. Defense is the only reason he was taken in the first round.
Rebounding, I think, is also a strength.
Yeah,
Like,
I said rebounding earlier.
Okay, well, you said defense was the only reason he was taken. I think he's a good rebounder.
Defensive rebounder.
I think he's a good rebounder. 38.5-inch vertical, 7'2" wingspan. Yeah, it's just like the offense, and like even when he does drive, like the layups aren't there. The touch around the paint is not there. A lot of times doesn't look at the rim. A lot of times has no idea what to do with the basketball.
Not assertive.
Not a great screen. Like he's gonna have to be like a screener of sorts, like a pick and roll almost. Like he has to be a lob threat. He has to be an offensive rebound threat, and then eventually figure out how to score the ball in other ways. But defensively, he is all inspiring. Like I'm flummoxed watching Ryan Dunn play basketball.
He's gonna get minutes this year just because of that. But it'll only be in like crunch time.
I might buy a Ryan Dunn jersey. That's where we're at right now.
Ryan Dunn jersey.
A Ryan Dunn freaking jersey. If he actually turns out to be like a decent player, like what if he becomes like defensive player of the year and just
he has this. What's crazy is the skill set. I mean, like my ceiling is like all defensive player, and then you have floor out of league.
Yeah.
So.
NBA draft, the Utah Jazz select Isaiah Collier.
Oh,
there he goes.
I like the pick.
I like the pick too.
He fell a bit, but I like this pick a lot, and I like the fit also. Now, he's going next to like Keontae George and like Colin Sexton and stuff, so there's not a lot of defense being played or whatnot. But still, we're talking about a team that doesn't have a lot of like defined roles outside of Lauri Markkanen.
Yeah,
a lot of flexibility here, and so yeah. He's the best player available. Or I mean, I have Tyler Smith available better, but he's one of the best players available right now. And so why not take him? I like this. I like this.
Yeah, I mean, we continue to talk about it tonight. Is just a downhill finisher. Gets the line at an incredible rate, 0.49, basically 50% free throw rate. And so that gets him nearly 6 attempts a game. Obviously, that kind of gets deducted from him only shooting 67% from the line. But the fact that he's able to get there at all in that clip is incredible. He's not really the most explosive athlete, but he kind of makes up for that with him just being such a physical player. I really like his handle and his control of his body. I will say though that he can get a little reckless sometimes, especially as a playmaker, and you can throw the ball away. Obviously, he played at USC. We can talk about that as much as you want, but I think that is something he will have to work on, just because some of them were interesting. Now
15 points a game
shooting wise.
Okay.
He did shoot 3 a game, but he only had multiple 3-pointers in 5 games. So that is something you want to keep an eye on. Low volume, but I mean, he only made if you're shooting 3 a game and only making multiple in 5, you'd like that to be a little bit higher, I feel like.
Yeah. 16 points per game, 4.5 assists. I think like the handle is solid in like
I like his handle.
Like he can really like get to a spot that he wants to get on. So I like that. I love this pick at 29. I think what do I have him at 21?
I have him 23.
I have him 20 on my board. So
there you go.
Like just flat out, I think this is a good pick. And if the shooting comes around, we're talking about a really, really good player here, a player that can start for you, I think, long term. In terms of player available, I think he might have one of the highest upsides. So
in terms
of
Isaiah
Collier, if the shooting comes around, which I do have as a major question, I'm not really buying it, but and then I'm not really buying I don't know how good of a defender he can be. I think he can be a defender, but not like a high level defender.
Yeah,
but-
I think it's a neutral, like not a
Yeah,
minus, not really a
neutral.
plus. Yeah.
So, and he's not the most versatile guy, and he's the main thing that got me, and that like again, people were trying to had Collier. Remember when Collier was a top 10 pick?
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
it's just I don't know what the hell is happening with people. We can't listen to anybody a month out from the draft. Just trust our eyes. Trust your eyes, Colin. But like I would see that, and then you match up the tape and everything, and he's 6'5" wingspan with 34-inch vertical. He's just not a great athlete.
Yeah.
So it's like he's really good around the rim, crafty, 61% at the rim and half court. I like all that stuff. So be happy, Jazz fans. Go with it. I honestly think the passing is kind of a swing skill. And I know a lot of people say the shooting, but like if he could pass, man.
Well, it'll
really
keep him on the court if he can pass, and then
Yeah.
hopefully that allows him to develop his shooting. So
Yeah.
I like this pick.
So be happy with it, Jazz fans. That's a
All
good
right.
draft. Who else have they gotten?
I forgot who the first one they got was.
I know. Cody Williams. Oh. But Cody Williams at 10, Collier.
Interesting.
They're a West Coast team. Sell some tickets.
All right.
Cut that out. Cut it out.
Who's gonna go 30 to the Celtics?
The Celtics. Man, this has flown by. The last like 5 picks. Ever since Dylan Jones, I am in a bliss. No clue where I'm at. No clue where I'm at.
I mean, you got Filipowski.
Dude, if Filipowski falls to the second round,
That'd be brutal.
Kolek. Okay, I think I had Shed at this spot.
Kolek would be weird. Yeah, I think we picked Shed here. I'd like Shed here.
I'd like Shed here.
Just another physical guy that'll annoy you.
Yeah. I like Shed here. I wouldn't be mad with really any pick because you have the best team in the world that's just better than everybody. So just do whatever the hell you want.
Pick whoever you want here. I mean,
But I
I don't
say
think
Shed is the safest pick. Filipowski? Shooting?
I mean,
Hey,
I feel like
Porzingis goes down. Horford's old. Filipowski slide in. That's the pick. There it is.
I mean, someone on my board. I have somebody in top, like a lottery pick on my board that's not picked yet. Is that an indictment on me or is that Filipowski?
Oh, I have Tyler Smith at 17. So
Yeah, but Tyler Smith though. Everyone,
I'm betting on his upside. Betting on the potential.
what potential?
I know what I'm betting on.
What potential?
I know what I'm betting. What do you mean? What potential? He's a hell of a shooter. Don't give me that. Don't give me that with Tyler Smith.
He's a good shooter. He's a good shooter.
Yeah, Kyle Filipowski's my bet for the pick here because they see Al Horford getting old and say, "Hey,
Getting old, dude's almost 40.
he's like 38." Like, hey, your turn to do that, bud. Yeah, Boston's got to be taking them. It's either Flip or Shed. That's my guess.
There's gonna be a lot of names in the second round that are gonna be interesting, like Cam Christie, Johnny Furphy, obviously, Tyler Kolek. Flip if he doesn't get picked. That'd be brutal for him. Is he there?
I would assume so.
Imagine a team promising to take you and then not taking you.
Oh, 3 hours. Isn't it crazy? 30 picks takes over 3 hours.
No. Because we've done it 4 years.
I know. All right. Man, AJ Johnson really got drafted.
Yeah, that's a crazy.
30th pick in the 2024 NBA draft, the Boston Celtics select Baylor Shireman,
Okay.
Creighton University.
Yeah, if he's gonna go anywhere, God, that's the most annoying place to.
Yeah.
That's such a Celtics pick.
Tomorrow
Like,
at 4 p.m. Eastern Time on ESPN.
thank you, Adam.
Thanks to all the fans, especially here at Barclays Center.
Dang, you didn't rehearse this beforehand, huh?
Just looking around. Yeah.
All right, Baylor
I
Shireman.
hate that the draft's on 2 days. Anyways.
I like it. I like it now. I've come around on it. Nearly 24 years old, incredible shooter, really good offensive IQ. He is the epitome of what a Boston Celtic is, just because he's the most annoying player for players that play against him.
All right, well let's keep it positive here. Okay.
No, it's
Baylor
positive. No,
Shireman-
that's a positive thing. I'd be happy if he was on my team if I was Creighton. I mean, 9 rebounds a game, 4 assists, great feel for the game, nearly 90% from the line. Like, offensively, he is a really, really good player. And honestly, team defender, he's pretty underrated, I think. Hustles through screens, puts himself in the right places. I mean, offensively, I think he's a really, really good player. There are a couple question marks, but I'll let you go with your positives.
You know, the funny thing is my comp to him is Sam Hauser.
Yeah, mine
So
is too, actually.
they're just gonna be playing right next to each other. But yeah, almost 24 years old, 6'7", a guy you can just plug and play in as a shooter, and honestly, a really good rebounder too. I don't remember if you mentioned that, but 9 rebounds per game, 91st percentile of defensive rebounding. So you're talking about a guy that can shoot, rebound. That's where the Sam Hauser one comes in. I think Hauser's kind of a scrappy, do it all type player. I think Shireman can do that as well. Hauser's a much better defender.
Yes.
And Hauser was a much better shooter out of college. So with that being said, that's why I have Baylor Shireman like 40 on my board. But taking him at 30 is not crazy to me, especially considering a lot of the guys I have above him are kind of project players. But yeah, I think he's a good shooter. I don't think he's a great shooter. Which ultimately, if he's going to get on the court next year or in the year after, he's going to have to be a great shooter to make up for the fact that like he's an average defender at best. I think he's probably a negative when he comes in the league. And then he also can do nothing off the dribble. Hauser, I think, is better off the dribble as well. So it's like, what am I exactly getting here? I'm just getting a shooter.
Yeah, I mean, in his spots, I think he's a great shooter. But when you start to get like when you really push out from the NBA 3-point line, like we've had questions where the shot kind of changes a little bit,
and on contests as well.
And on contests.
Yeah.
He also doesn't really like to get to the rim. Like if he cuts, he'll sometimes just stop and pop like on the baseline for a mid-range shot instead of actually going to the basket. So explosiveness is definitely a concern for me. Foot speed, you mentioned defense. Like, is he going to be able to stay in front of players? And he doesn't have a lot of attempts at the rim at all already. So
he was efficient at the rim, but I don't buy it.
Right. Like for example, he took 8 threes per game, but he only took 14 shots overall. So if you're taking, what is that? Quick math on that, 60% of your shots from 3.
Yeah, and probably half of the other ones are pull-up jumpers.
Yeah, pull-up jumpers or cuts or something like that. So it's going to be interesting to see if he's able to like attack closeouts at all or attack off like handoffs or anything like that. So, but I mean, I like the pick. So
yeah,
I had him like 30. I had him 36th.
Okay.
Yeah.
So it's a pick. It's a shooter. Celtics love shooting. At a shooter. Not mad at it, but that's kind of the player that he is. So
yep.
Yeah. Thanks for joining us. We'll talk to y'all later.